that they will not send their followers on any errands or is one of the root causes of insecurity. If you doubt me, simply look at the level of violence in the Niger Delta on election day and during electioneering campaigns. We cannot arm boys, feed them, instigate violence during elections, and then after the elections, we begin to talk and pretend that we do not know what is going on, or when the society begins to fall apart, we act as if we don't know what is at the bottom of it. If we take violence out of our politics, violence in the society will reduce to manageable proportions. There is violence everywhere in the world, but violence can only spiral out of proportion when it is state-sponsored or state-tolerated. Furthermore, if we take violence out of our elections and allow our people to vote, we not only solve the problem of insecurity in the Niger Delta, but we will enthrone good governance, because it will substantially reduce godfatherism, as it will become impossible for any governor to single-handedly handpick every member of the House of Assembly and every local government chairman. If these other leaders come from sources that one person does not control, then there will be different voices in the government, and that is the power of democracy. Once the two factors above are under control, if we enforce the law fairly and impartially and create effective mechanisms for review of state actions, because the state sometimes can also be a problem to the citizens. If we punish state actors that violate the rules and also punish private actors that cease to compromise the system either by bribery or by deceit, once these three difficult conditions are met, insecurity will fall drastically and investments will grow. It is therefore clear that insecurity in the Niger Delta region is substantially man-made. We can, by well thought out human actions, overcome these challenges, and the solutions are not limited to what I have said here. Economic prosperity in the region would lie in how well we prepare our people for the future. And I think that this is what the chairman was talking about when he talked about agriculture, and what the other speaker was talking about when he talked about the fact that the wealth of Japan is in the Japanese people. If we take taxes from oil companies, we must understand that the world today is a global village. I'm not suggesting that we ignore the oil or ignore the oil companies, but in preparing our people for the future, it is our responsibility. And we cannot, how do they call it? When you outsource something to somebody else. The way it is now, it's as if the government is outsourcing the issues of the development of the people of the Niger Delta to the oil companies and to other businessmen in the region. That should not be the case. We should take taxes from companies that operate here, but it is our responsibility to prepare our people for the future. And essentially, like I said, the world is a global village, and the future of this global village is in technology and artificial intelligence. I was telling somebody the other day, anything you're doing, I was talking to somebody who said he wants to be a piano player. He's studying piano, taking piano classes. And I asked him, are you using computer in any way to enhance what you're doing? And he said, no. I said, then you haven't started. Everybody is going to end up with the computer. Farming will end with the computer. Everything will end with the computer. So anything you're doing and you're not using the computer, either to do it differently or to improve on how you're doing it, you're already behind and you have already lost out. So if we're going to prepare our people for the future, it doesn't matter what they want to do, whether they want to dance, they want to farm, they want to work in, we must prepare them to know the importance of technology and artificial intelligence. And that's why the other day when I came back here and I was giving out laptops to some of our PhD students, I said very clearly that when we talk about free education in Nigeria, education is not free. Anybody who is offering you something that has no value, the thing has no value. In the coming world, my son was 9 years old when I went somewhere and I was arguing with him. And he said to me, Daddy, there is no such thing as people who don't know something. You only have people who don't have internet. So anybody who doesn't have internet or is not relating to the computer is already an illiterate in the coming world. So if we're talking of educating our children and we say it will be free, it is free because we are not educating them for global competition. Global competition means that every child, none of us today would allow any of our children, at least most of us sitting here in this room, will not allow any of our children to be educated and in an environment in which they are not taught anything about the computer or how to use the computer or how to do their things or how to use the internet to get the knowledge they need to enhance their capacity and ability. But we are doing that same thing to millions of children across the Niger Delta in the name of free education. Tomorrow, we begin to wonder the area is not moving forward. The reason the Prime Minister of Japan can say with confidence that anywhere you take Japanese people to, they will develop it the same way they develop Japan is because he knows what the Japanese government has put into the Japanese people. What are we, the governments in the Niger Delta, putting into the Niger Delta people? Picketing companies, blocking oil service companies cannot be a future for our children. It is our responsibility to prepare our people for the future, and that future is in technology. I can go on and on to tell you some of the things that people are beginning to do with technology that would amaze you. Somebody was talking to me the other day and said in California, they introduced a machine that flips burgers. You know, that's the easiest job you can get. You go to McDonald's and then you're flipping burgers. Now they have a machine that flips the burger, and it does it 10 times better than any human being. And of course, thousands of poorly equipped people were now out of work. You have a situation where people now have machines that can mow the lawn and water your grass and maintain your garden. And they do it better than any human gardener can do. If you are a gardener, that's the end of your occupation. So in the coming world, not just people, but even companies are going to learn how to adapt, change from one system to another, be vigilant and versatile. Because what you're doing today, if you're not on top of your game and you're not ahead of everybody else, you can very easily, before you wake up, you find out that you're 10 miles behind what is happening. I was listening the other day to the managing director of Uber talking, the CEO. You're all CEOs now. Some of you could even be bigger than the Uber CEO. What was he talking about? He said the biggest cost for Uber is the driver. And the way they are going to make money is that they must eliminate the driver from their business. And that's what they're working towards, driverless cars. So once they achieve a driverless car and all you know is how to drive, you're out of business. So the world in front of us is changing rapidly. And the only way you can even know where the world is headed and how fast it is changing is that you yourself have to be involved in the knowledge of where these things are happening. And it's happening in the field of artificial intelligence and with the computer. So if we're educating our people and we're not talking about that, we are basically going to create an army of illiterates that will not allow us to sleep here in the region. Because people who don't know or don't have anything to do or anything to contribute can only contribute trouble. So we have to make people useful by preparing them for the future. It is my belief that in forums such as this, we can talk to one another honestly and comfortably, confidently share new ideas of how differently things can be done without fear and without shame. Because one of the things that keep people down is the fear that if you say something different from what everybody else is saying, you will be ostracized and you will be left out. But those who pioneer great things are always people who had the boldness to step up and do what nobody else was thinking of doing. And sometimes you sit down and you look at what sometimes you sit down and you look at what somebody else is doing and doing so well. And it is probably something you had thought of earlier, but you dismissed it because you thought that people would think that, you're crazy or the thing would not work or whatever, whatever. Those that are bold, fearless, courageous, and are not afraid to fail are those that will hold the future. Because the fear of failure is also the fear of success. If you don't try, you cannot fail, and you also cannot win. So I think that's about the 20 minutes I have. I thank you for the privilege of being here. And thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Magnus Inge Abe. Thank you very much, sir. I'm sure we're learning as we progress. All right, part of the fallout of the CEO Summit annually is to raise budding entrepreneurs. We started with what we call Project 500 during the first edition in 2017. And this year we're launching Project 100. I have a couple of guys to come talk about what Project 100 is. And first of all, I'd like to invite a program coordinator from ISPED. ISPED would anchor and house the 100 budding entrepreneurs for this project. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Asieri Odusi, to briefly tell us about ISPED.
Thank you very much. I want to stand on the existing protocols. Thank you for having me. Like I said, my name is Asieri Odusi, and I represent the Initiative for Sustainable Peace and Entrepreneurship Development, ISPED. What we've been doing for the past years is to see how we can get young people, get women, and then one of the target groups that has been neglected, which is people with disabilities. And what we'll do is to see how we can get them engaged. About 2 days ago or so, a new batch of people, young people, just passed us from the National Youth Service Corps. And then we have these people injected into society with little or nothing to fall back on. What ISPED has been doing for the past 3 years is to see how we can get young people and then get them engaged through a model which we created, an entrepreneurship model which goes beyond just getting people, empowering them, giving them startup packs, and let them go on the way. What we do is we get young people, we get people with disabilities, we get women, and then we see how we engage them and then link them up to businesses and organizations where they can have mentorship and continuous learning. As of 2 years back, we embarked on the model which ISPED, and then that is what we are trying to also do through the Project 100. Recently, we have young people who are going through ICT trainings, and somebody talked about robotics the other day. We have one in Bayelsa State that is presently taking young teenagers, people between 7 to 13 years old, teaching them robotics. And these are the things that we tend and we always continually encourage through the Project 100. And then we're looking and using this medium to also reach out to people from the gathering to see how we can encourage other people. We can encourage young people, we can encourage women, we can encourage people with disabilities to get engaged, and then see that it does not end at the begging level of going to meet your uncle or somebody you know in the government to beg for handouts. But we see that these people are engaged and then injected into the society, and they can become self-reliant. And that is what we're trying to do through the Project 100. I believe somebody is going to talk more about this project, but this is just what we do in ISPED, and then we encourage every one of us to be part of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Odusi. Just to let you know that some other person will come up to tell us how we can achieve this. And now what the Project 100 would do is to, it will be an open application for budding entrepreneurs to apply. So 100 are selected, they'll get the training in different sectors, and they'll be assigned to companies, firms that are specialized in what they're interested in. They will be mentored over time, and then they will be released to overtake and expand the economic sector in the Niger Delta region. Now, to tell us how we can achieve Project 100, I would like to welcome the CEO, Brass and Books Financial Services from Bayelsa State, my friend and brother, Mr. Solomon King.
Is it morning or afternoon? We don't cross 12 o'clock. Oh, okay. Good afternoon, sirs. I beg to still stand on existing protocols. This is a special heartwarming greetings to all of us. So I run Brass and Books Financial Services. Our model is private equity. Private equity is straightforward. Take money from the guys who can spare and put it into sectors that need to leave. If we must achieve anything with the Niger Delta CEO Summit and come together every year and talk about revitalizing our economy, we have to be deliberate about it. And so this year, I've been given a list. I was asked, in fact, instructed to call our daddies and uncles and fathers to deliberately inject finances into projects that have social impact in the Niger Delta. And so, who has a microphone? Amen. Who gets second microphone for here? Because I didn't come here to make a speech. I came to beg. Say I beg. We have entrepreneurs in the Niger Delta who do great work. In fact, it was on that premise that we switched our business model from just being a regular financing company to a private equity company. Because there are people who can really help, or people that we presume that can help. And this part of this meeting is to beg, is to solicit, is to urge for our fathers, our leaders, people who have gone ahead of us, to do something deliberately, publicly, about entrepreneurship in the Niger Delta. So I will be, I want clap if I want clap. So I will be calling on our leaders and our fathers, one after the other, with a microphone in their hand, telling us how much, in clear terms, how much in clear terms on camera, because everybody, every media house is here, in clear terms, how much they will make available soon. No, soon is too far. Now. Well, now the money is not big, so I'm going to do now. But in the next couple of hours, and so do I have that second microphone now? I do? Okay. So I also need an usherette. Okay, so you just do that great job. Ladies and gentlemen, with lots of joy and respect and honor, can we pass the microphone to our father, Senator Heineken Lokobiri? He's the chairman of the day, sir. I spend this money, Daddy, and we need you to please support the project of empowering 100 young entrepreneurs with funds. Please put your hands together for him. You're not celebrating.
I think that I just declared, what I have with the code of conduct.
Yes, sir.
When I left office, just a few weeks ago, and I just submitted my code of conduct form, and I can assure you that there's nothing in the account. And the truth about it is this, and that is the irony of it. A lot of people, in Nigeria see political office as a way of making money. But my own experience, and I guess, my friend here, will bear me, will bear witness to what I'm going to say. And also, Honorable Woman of Goodwork, and also, and then other, people who have held public offices will also bear me witness. The irony of it is this.
Yes, Daddy.
most times, those who were millionaires before they, got into offices, leave public offices poorer. That is the truth. And I believe that this will be one of the, the things that we can take away from here. If we're going into public office, it should be to serve, not necessarily to make money. If that is your ambition, you'll be disappointed at the end of the day. However,
thank you, sir. I was waiting for that part.
I will do some.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
I'll do some consultation, with some friends.
Okay, sir.
Then I'll get back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So again, sir, I like to quickly address that in tossing the mic to you and to our leaders, I kept using the word leaders. I don't ask for funds because you're a politician. No. I don't, we didn't, this is a CEO summit. And so that for me is the background of this conversation. It's not for us to solicit for support for iSped as a project from politicians, no. From politicians or political office holders. It's not on that premise. That it's on the premise that our fathers are here, our leaders are here, and we can ask them to support projects that move agriculture forward. I'll give you an example. There's a young lady, Dobra Ngai, who runs a farm. It's purported to be the largest farm in Bayelsa State. And she's, I hear, a product of iSped. There are several thousands of young people who would leave the names and the taggings that we have given them if we will be more deliberate in funding their businesses. And so this is the premise on which we're asking in public, please, let's put funds into young entrepreneurship, into young people's businesses. That's what this is about. Slide, please come.
Give me the microphone. Let me tell you where you can get it.
Okay, sir.
If you look at, if you look at, the cheap funds we have in the country right now.
Yes, sir.
Agric funds are among the cheapest. If you're looking for funds to invest in agriculture, at least you can comfortably, access from the over 500 billion available from sundry, interventions from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The president himself is a farmer, so when he came into office, there was a deliberate policy to see how CBN can intervene. And the states where people have had opportunity to access resources to invest in agriculture are those who have tapped into those resources. There's nobody seated here that can give you funds that can make any significant impact in the kind of, investment that you're talking about. So, based on the fact that I was there, I can tell you that there are several opportunities you have. Prepare your business plan if you want to invest in agriculture. Go to your nearest bank of agriculture.
Stop
or
that. Stop that.
Go to your commercial bank. Every bank now has an agri table. NICEL itself has over $500 million available. NICEL, which is a subsidiary of Central Bank of Nigeria. The problem is that our region hasn't looked at that sector. And so we haven't benefited. And that was why I said, I, standing before you, gave approval to pay subsidy of 17 billion. But as I got 2 million naira. It's because you get based on the proportion of your participation in the agri sector. So if you, call my colleagues here, my friends here, you won't get any money. Save us the time, my chairman, and I'm speaking as chairman, that the way you can get some money is through this intervention from Central Bank of Nigeria, and every bank as at today, go to any branch of any bank. there is an agric desk. And if you want further consultation, come to me. I'll provide those services. I'll use my contacts to ensure that those who want to invest in agriculture can access resources. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, sir, still standing on existing protocols, I would be careful to just obey instructions and ask the moderator of the program to move the 2019 Niger Delta CEO Summit forward. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Solomon King of Brass and Brooks Financial Services. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your contribution. And thank you to all of you who have made this possible. Put your hands together for yourselves. I am not seeing smiling faces. Please, can you smile? I know we just talked about money, but smile. Smile. All right. We're going forward. While I started, I told you that I have a co-MC. Please, to move to the next speaker, I would like to invite my co-MC to the microphone to continue this event. I would like to make welcome none other than Miss Queen Wokocha. She's an actress. I guess a lot of you must have seen her on the silver screen. As she comes forward, please jam those hands together for her. Women, please encourage your fellow woman. Thank you. Thank you. I will be back.
Hello, good afternoon. He made a mistake. My name is Miss Queen Wokomana Wokocha. I'm from River State. I'm not Igbo. So, I'm from Calabari, precisely. So, we've heard from him. I'm the co-anchor of the show, and it is C Summit. Well, I would like to invite the next speaker, Ubi Franklin, who is the CEO of Instant Group. Instant Pickup. Instant Pickup has to do with laundry services. Instant Taxi, their services are in Uyo, Cross River State. And he is the CEO of Triple MG, Made Men Music Group. You know Made Men Music Group? The group that helped Nyanya's career. Hold your waist. Well, and he's a serial entrepreneur who recently disclosed he made over 10 billion in the past 7 years. Wow. Well, please, can I just have 30 seconds myself? Mr. Ubi Franklin, I'm an artist, I'm an actor, a Nollywood actor. You are a talent manager. Can I please plead with you to manage my talent? Thank you very much. Well, Ubi Franklin, can you come on stage, please? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll do something different. You know, we have a lot of elders here. 3 weeks ago, I was talking to somebody about, I didn't even know he was the one. Someone asked me to Google Henneken Apobiri, and I was like, who is that? I was like, he's a minister. I think that was before you all left. And I Googled him. The guy was saying he's a powerful man. He's from the South. And I was like, okay, that's great. I've heard of Senator Magnus Abe. I've heard of a few people here. I met Siasia last night. I've heard of my brother here. And I've always said one day when we meet, we're going to have rub minds and make things happen. I have a presentation. Please, can you help me? I told the organizer yesterday when he picked me up from the airport that I wasn't interested in just sitting on the topic for today, because I believe that most of the conferences that we attend, there are a lot of young people here, and most of the conferences that we attend, people just come and speak what they want to say and go, and nothing happens. And I've been to several conferences. Part of my business is I do business mentoring to make my own money on the side as consulting. And I feel like there needs to be something that should be done. Last year when I wanted to start up my taxi hailing company, I decided to start it in Calabar and Akwa Ibom. And I had the reason why I did that, because I believe that anything that has to happen happens from Lagos. I moved to Lagos in 2005. And I had a business day interview last year, March, and I told the presenter asked me, how much do you think you have made in the last 7 years? I said 10 billion. And people started attacking me that I was lying. Everything in life is access. If you have the wrong information, you want to dispute everything you hear and see. It's possible. Do you understand? If you have the right information, anything you hear, you have to, like you said, the internet is a space for you. Go and check it. In 2007, November, I started Instant Apartment, which is a service where you can list several apartments in different places. And I found out that I had more apartments listed in Lagos, Dubai, Ghana, Abuja, and there were less apartments from the south. Let me focus on the south, because that's the reason why we're here. The reason is because we're yet to get to that point where we believe that there's enough security for you to travel to the south and stay in somebody's home that he has listed on the platform, because we believe that there's no security. When I was coming, I said, please book me presidential. Do you understand? Why did I say that? Because I've been hearing a lot, the last time I came here was January 1st. I flew in with the jet at 1 a.m., went for an event, and left immediately. Why did I do that? Because I was maybe scared. But I've decided to come for this conference because I'm trying to let a lot of young people know that we cannot be scared of where we come from. If somebody kidnaps me as a South guy, young guy trying to make things happen, well, they've kidnapped their own, and they are the reason why we are going down. And like someone says, we are useless. It's because our use is just it's not there. People cannot see it. All right. Now, for those of our elders that have been to government and the younger ones that have touched government power, all these young people need, like when they came to you and gave you the mic, is access. If you have my presentation, let me know. It's access. You know, they might have given Bayelsa 2 million from the 17 billion you said you were able to push. But when you were pushing that 17 billion, I'm not saying, but I'm sure maybe you had given somebody orders and say, can you check the whole South and say, let's check people that are into agriculture so we can fix their name in the right places. You know, for me, if I'm in a government position from South, what I'll do is I'll always pick up the files of my brothers and sisters and go and put them where they need to be themselves. I visited one of the ministers in this government one day, and he's from the South. I got into his office, and what I saw there was, when I was leaving, I was like, what's going on? Do you understand? I'm not trying to be tribalistic, but if you go to a South office holder in Abuja or anywhere they are, you find out that it's the Northerners that rule the place. I'm not trying to divide the country, but it's the truth. And then they keep you outside to sit down there and wait for 10 hours and still nothing happens. So when we find out that somebody is from our side, I'm not saying it's a country. It should be equal. But at least when you find out somebody from your side and know how our side is. Look, I was doing something. You mentioned something about NISA. I was talking to one of the guys that works there a few days ago. And do you know that the most unbanked money in Nigeria is in the north? And most of them are into agriculture because they don't believe that they should take their money and put in the bank. So why can't they say that the most unbanked money in Nigeria is in the south? Where is the money? Where are the young people? How do we do that? That's the most important thing that needs to happen. So if you have is it ready? I want to just talk to a few young people. I'm a businessman. In 2010, I became PA to Julius Agu for 2 years. Julius Agu is from this state. And while I was PA to him, I decided not to. Okay, that's me, my son, that's my mom and my dad. Growing up is very, very, very important. And I'm just going to make sure that my 20 minutes is my 20 minutes. I grew up in Cross River State. I'm from Ekori in Yaka local government of Cross River State. And last year, this year, the election was this year, right? This year, during the election, I spent a lot of time in my village. Not because I was ready to support any political party in particular, but because I wanted to make sure that my own polling unit had a free and fair election. And guess what? As much as possible, I tried to do that. I made sure I gave out water. I gave out water, gave out food to everybody at the polling unit for the 3 elections. You know, we had 3 elections because one was cancelled, but I made sure I flew to Lagos, from Lagos to Calabar every time to do that. Now, last election, I voted, but I wasn't really involved. Now, for businesses to thrive, like one of our speakers said, is the government put the rules and regulations that businesses need to thrive on. Last year, I went to Dubai, and I tried to order Uber. No, 2 years ago, I tried to order Uber. And Uber takes a longer time to come, but Karim, which is the same service like Uber, comes faster. And I started asking myself, why? Why would Karim come faster than Uber? Uber is a bigger company. You know what the government of the UAE did? Let me say Dubai, you know what they did? They made sure that they put Uber and they gave them restrictions as much as possible so they don't come and take over what their people have built. Now, that is how it's supposed to be. Uber last year, I think early this year, just bought over Karim for $1 billion because they have pushed them so much and they were overvalued. Karim was overvalued. $1 billion is a lot of money. Karim was overvalued at $1 billion. Now, why did Uber do that? Because they've given them those restrictions. And they say, okay, you know what? What do we do? So we have to buy out these guys. So what have the government done? The government has cashed out from that, but they know that somebody from that same country has done something that they had to put the person through the rules and regulations. If it was in our country, somebody will collect $100 million and tell them, carry on. Instead of buying off or partnering with the guys that are already on ground. And that is where we have major issues. Next slide, please. I don't know what you're doing. All right. I don't think they've gotten that right. Let me just speak and just finish up because I have almost everything I want to say in my head. Information is very, very important. There are a lot of tech hubs in Lagos and there are a few tech hubs in Abuja. We're not asking the government of the South-South. Government of the South, I mean the governors, the ministers from the South-South, the House of Representative members, the House of Assembly members, we are not asking special advisors. We're not asking them to come and give us money. We're asking positions to build as many tech hubs as possible. So you are giving out computers. Where are they going to use those computers? Do they have access to internet? Is there fiber optics in the South-South? Where can we get the access to fiber optics? You know, infrastructure is very important to whatever we want to achieve as young people. There are a lot of people here. I'm sure some people came here. I've been getting a lot of DMs. I want you to sign me. I want you to sign me. Before I sign you, I have to see that you have actually recorded 1 or 2 songs that can stand out. What did I do? When I started my record label, I took a South-South guy, Crushivarian, Nyaya, and picked him from wherever we were, and we went round the world. I've been to different countries because of music, because I decided to believe in the guy beside me that I saw that is from this place, not because I don't believe in other talents. I did that, and we succeeded. And today, he's a known face in the entertainment industry, and we made money from that. That's why I'm able to stand here today, because that's where I got access to do other businesses. I was able to meet a lot of people daily and tell them, you know what, we can make it coming from. So we need to do, you understand? So we need to do what is right, because the government are coming for us and say, pay your tax. But there need to be an enabling environment for us to, even if we are doing CSR, like you said, we're using our business monies to do CSR. We're not, normally CSR is meant to be done from profit. But we're using our business monies to do CSR, and we all have to do it. Last year, 2 years ago, I gave out 500,000 naira to 10 entrepreneurs. And guess what? I found out that all of them, none of them came out with the money that I wanted, or not, they ate the money somehow. Now I'm coming for you, the young people. They ate the money. And guess what? They had some of the brilliant ideas that I was looking at. Okay, let me inject 500,000. So last year, I decided not to go that route. I went to businesses that were already existing. I said, you sell akara. All right. So what if I give you 100,000 naira? What are you going to do to make your akara business go for? Say, for 100,000 naira, you will come here and say you go. So I gave that woman 100,000 naira. I went to another lady. She cooks. She didn't expect me to come to her. I said, what do you need? She said she needs a freezer. I said, okay, if I buy you a freezer now, in how many weeks can you pay me back? She said, Oga, if you buy me a freezer in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I said, it's not possible for you to pay me back in 2 weeks. I'm a businessman. Things happen. Because if everything is about expansion, once you're expanding, it's going to be difficult for you. I bought her a freezer. I forgot about it. I went to different people. I have my cousin. I said, 3 years ago, I started, because he solely depended on me. And I said, no, what can you do? He makes clothes. So he can make everything you're wearing. He makes the Niger Delta outfit. And he said, I make clothes. I bought him machines and did everything and set up a business for him. Now, that is part of the reason why you see a lot of young people during election, they are carrying guns, is because there's nothing for them to do. So now, I have an option and I have a suggestion. I have an option. I have a suggestion. We should see how possible, either through the Niger Delta Development Commission or whatever it is, to build technology hubs in each local government in Nigeria to reach everybody. Because if you build it in the state capital, some of them will not have the money to come. We are very talented. I'm from the South. There are many young boys from the South that are doing very well. Timaya is from Bayelsa, right? He's doing very well. Who again? Duncan Mighty, Burner Boy. Do you understand? There are a lot of young boys that are using their talent to do. But it's a lot that has to happen. We need to build tech hubs in each local government in the South. We need to build an entrepreneurship village in the South. If that one can be each state, build a village where there are computers, there's access to internet, there's everything. You apply through your local government chairman or your councillor to go to that school. It's free. It has the right and the top class executives from around the world that come there to lecture. We can start from there, because if I tell you to give some of these young guys here money, they will eat the money. And that's the truth. But we need to do something that once they learn that trade, once a hungry man is a man that doesn't have what he can use to eat, to feed. Once you have a trade, you can use that trade. Once you know you've learned a trade, you can use that to do whatever you want to do. I learned whatever I was doing from Julius Agu by following him every day as his PA, carrying his bag. When I get to somewhere, that is Honorable Magnus Abe. Okay, really? No problem. Instead of me taking a picture with Magnus Abe, you know what I'll do? I'll write him as one person I want to meet someday outside that place. I kept jotting it down. I kept meeting all these men one after the other. When I meet them, I say, I met you at one event with Julius Agu. Because there's access. Who has given me the access? Julius Agu. Do you understand what I'm saying? So he has given me that access. So whenever I meet you, I said, I met you. And now, not just I met you with Julius Agu. Once I say I met you with Julius Agu, guess what? You listen to me because there's a name that you understand. Why can't I go to a government office and say, Honorable Henikin Akpobere sent me to come to you. And then when you get there, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce the name well. I just learned about you a few weeks ago. When I get there, listen to me, the young guys, right? When you get there, it's very important that you represent the person that you have the access to enter there. Because if you go there and do the wrong thing, you are giving the person a bad name. And every other person that he recommends to come to do anything with whoever is going to fail. Do you know that? We have a lot of things to do as young people. Now, the reason why a lot of people are scared of using us as young people to do stuff is because we have disappointed a lot. Fraud is not the option. We can do better. I see EFCC arresting a lot of young people every day. These guys have messed up my slide, but let's just keep talking. When my 20 minutes is done, I'm sure you pick something. They're arresting a lot of young people. And why they're arresting young people is because... Don't worry, I'm already gone past it, so I can't go back in. We need a lot of young people to understand something, that we need to go out there and not... Why do we have the most popular people in the South as politicians? Do you know the most popular people in South are politicians? Why? Do you understand what I'm saying? We can become younger and better and live peaceful lives if we are able to focus on other things aside politics. I'm interested in politics. I want to do it. But I want to be able to go into politics with a different mindset from the way a lot of young people. There are people that are actually going into politics today because they believe it's about money. I'll tell you something. I would disagree and I'll agree with Honorable Hennikin because there are top people that go into government. And guess what? They use their money to do a lot of things because they believe that government is a place to go and chop money. There are some commissioners that go into a state, and if the state governor is a smart guy, he locks up everywhere. And then you see them start complaining, this governor, they release hand. When I hear them say that, I always ask myself, are these guys really serious? You have something called Commissioner for Lands, for example. What have you done with the position you are given? Do you understand? You need to use the position you are given to open the doors for yourself, not the governor giving you money to go and eat. Because it's wrong. We need to understand these things and understand that we cannot do anything as people from the South if we don't wake up and we become very, very intentional. We need to be very intentional with the things we are doing. If a tech hub has been built, we have very talented saxophonists from the South. We have very talented drummers from the South, producers from the South, a lot of them. We need to build an entertainment village. That entertainment village is where we have a football academy. We need another, who is the footballer from here? Joseph Yobo, right? We need footballers, top footballers from a football academy. It's not everybody that's going to go to school. Let's be very honest. Not everybody that's going to go to school. Some people need to learn something. Go to China. There are a lot of boys there that come to Nigeria and tell you they're expatriates, but they didn't go to school, but they just learned something. So when you learn something, it's better. Have you seen a lot of a lot of African footballers speak? When you hear them speak, you see that they have the worst diction. But you know what? N'Golo Kante is from where? No, where originally? Mbappe. You know, if you get all this thing, you find out that the reason why is an African issue. Do you understand? It's an African issue. But we need to understand that there are young people in our region that are very talented. I'm sure there's somebody here that's a footballer. He's been trying to even go somewhere for trials, to go international. Impossible. He's been trying to even get to the smaller clubs here. It's impossible. When you build an entertainment village and it comprises of a football academy, a music school, a radio school, a movie school, an acting school, different things. Why can't we bring the New York Film Academy and set up one in the Niger Delta and say, if you want to act, go there and learn how to act so that directors can hire you. So it's very important. Somebody has to help you cross. Somebody has to help you cross. And once you've gotten there, help somebody cross. It's very important. So we need to understand that when we get to places, but the most important thing is, since it's the Niger Delta, let me talk on this region. What? I'll spend 40 minutes. Really? Should I stop? Okay, I have 5 minutes more. So the most important thing I will beg everyone here to do is, let's try to channel our lives and our opportunities to places where we can get to learn something directly. Do you understand? It's impossible for now for them to do it, but we need to find a way to do it for ourselves. The internet is very, very possible. You shouldn't be on the internet as young people bullying other people. You should be on the internet as young people learning something. Once you have access to internet, like your son said, the person that doesn't know anything is the person that doesn't have access to internet. Once you have access to internet, it's very important for you to understand that you can Google anything you want to. I have a friend that's not Nigerian. She learned how to cook afang from YouTube. She learned how to cook ogbono soup from YouTube. And right now, guess what? She's not Nigerian. She's never been to Nigeria, but she cooks African food in LA and sells to people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Every time we go to LA for maybe BET Awards and all that, we buy food from her. She learned this 4 years ago just from YouTube. YouTube is your friend. The internet is your friend. Google is your friend. Google everything you want to as a person. create something you want to as a person, when you get to somewhere, if you are coming to any of your political leaders to ask them for favors, they should see that you have something you've learned where they can put you. Not where they are trying to say, okay, let me go back and go and learn something. It's not about certification. If it was about certification, a lot of people won't be where they are today. There are billionaires today in Nigeria that didn't go to school, but they learned something. It's very important. So thank you so much and have a great day.
Wow. I am impressed. They said it's 40 minutes. I doubt if it's up to 7 minutes, though. I wanted to listen to you over and over and over and over again. I learned something here. But please, Mr. Ubi Franklin, I made a request and it has not been granted. Well, I would like to welcome on stage Mr. Kennedy Inadi, the CEO of Panic Group. He is one of the partners of this event. Welcome, sir. Welcome. You're welcome. Yes. Okay. I would love to call on Perry Tsukwe, who works with AIT Yenegua, to come and call up the panels, the people in panels. Those persons are still our guest speakers too. They'll still talk to us. We'll still listen and still understand. They'll educate us because they are serial entrepreneurs too. Mr. Ubi Franklin, thank you. Thank you, Perry Tsukwe. Perry Tsukwe, where are you? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. So good to be here. We'll be having two panels. I'll be anchoring one, the first session. My name is Perry Tsukwe from Bayelsa State. I'm a broadcast journalist and vlogger. I work with Africa Independent Television, Ray Power 102.5 FM. Thank you. All right, so I'll just call those that are going to be on the panel, and then we get the conversation running. First off, if you're conversant with politics in Bayelsa Central Senatorial District in the run-off to the PDP primaries, then you'd know this name. He's not only one that has carved a niche for himself in the circles of academics, he's also one that gave the incumbent senator of Bayelsa Central a run for his money. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's put hands together for Professor Seifa Bwesibe. He's also the lead consultant and partner, Family Care Hospital. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, someone else. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm also going to invite to the panel one who has been a leading light to ensure that indigenous languages is one that we always propagate anywhere we go. That journey has taken him to Abuja, and he is the Director General, National Institute for Cultural Orientation. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Professor Barclays Ayakoromo. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. But you're still propagating our local languages as well. Thank you very much. Okay. The last but not the least is one that slips money, eats money, and cannot raise 20 million. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the CEO, Glass and Books, he's also a member of the intellectual gang. Please put your hands together for Solomon King. Solomon King. Oh, do you have the 20 million now? Oh, this is the only time I get to do this, yes. All right, distinguished guests here on the panel. The conversation is on the Niger Delta. We've had entrepreneurs and policymakers here share their thoughts about how we should unearth opportunities in various spheres. somehow, as I walked in today, we've had conversations about turning the Niger Delta into our own Silicon Valleys, turning the Niger Delta to a hub, turning the Niger Delta to a marketplace where the connection between funders and those that have ideas, is very close. I would like to start with Professor Bwesibe. What are we not doing right, to hit the nail on the head in the Niger Delta region?
Thank you very much. I believe that getting the Niger Delta to work, as somebody that has spent all his life in Niger Delta, come from a very privileged background and maybe lucky and got to where he is. I think as a people, we need collaboration. Something is lacking, and that is collaboration. In most of our endeavors, it's critical that we have collaboration. We identify ourselves as people that share common humanity. First of all, let me say the brass states. I call it brass state: Bayelsa, Cross Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Delta, and then Edo. I think that we need to consciously, at the policy-making level, at the political leadership level, to ensure that these states will develop hubs. We see that what is necessary, policies that are necessary for the economy to grow, to contain our economy. Because one thing I see as most important is that in most cases, maybe as part of myself, a businessman, I see that we do not have what it takes to contain our capital within our zone. For instance, in Bayelsa, we have serious issues of capital flight, even from the civil servants, because what is necessary for that society to work is not basically there. So I believe that we need, as a people, to ensure that we collaborate, we work together to see that we have that level of developing ourselves, believing in ourselves, and starting small, but at the same time thinking big to get to where we want to get to. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Professor Ayakomas, I know that you're conversant with the Niger Delta master plan that was put in place by the NDDC some years ago. If we look at that right now, you'd want to agree with me that we are far from implementing that. Taking the conversation forward, what's your thought about getting things running in the Niger Delta? It seems like we're taking a back seat amongst other committee of regions in the country.
Okay, thank you very much. Just for our information here, I left NICO 2 years ago. I completed my 8 years tenure, and by the grace of God, I have not been invited to ICPC or EFCC because there was no money to throw around. One thing, my experience, I want to say that our value system, we've derailed. You talked about the Niger Delta master plan. There's no continuity. Everybody wants to start his own thing. If somebody had awarded a contract, the next person comes, it doesn't see that project as benefiting the people. It takes it that this project, if I complete it, they will say, oh, it is this person that awarded the contract. So there is lack of continuity and lack of commitment for many of our leaders. And that's a major problem. Once we are altruistic, once we are thinking of service to the people, you will not think of what will come to you as a person. Secondly, our youth, we have a problem. And of course, we have spoilt them. Because when somebody sits down at home doing nothing, contributing nothing to the economy, and you pay that person 60,000, 80,000 monthly, of what use is that? And somebody who has gone through the four walls of the university, maybe the person had carryover here and there and spent 6 years, he goes to work and you pay him 45,000 or 40,000. But the person sitting, not contributing anything to the economy, is getting 80,000 or 100,000. There is no way we can move forward from there. And because that is the thing now, people are not ready to work. I remember when I left school, incidentally, post NYSC, I started my working career in River State Television, in Olumeni Street, old GRA, not Lele one that, who were there when Triax engineering built that project there. Now, we worked to make a name in the society, but that is not what is happening now. The young ones want to get things on a platter of gold. And until we change that orientation, for me as a person, I tell my wife, I can't buy my child a car. He or she has to work to buy a car. But we have spoiled the younger ones. People are not ready to work. Sometimes I deliberately tell my children, today nobody is not dropping you at school. Go and take public transport. Let them experience hardship. So I think there has to be a reorientation of our youth for people to try to make a name for themselves and not, through their parents or some other person. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Solomon King, let's take a cue with what Professor Ayakoma said. With our value system as the benchmark, what sectors now, apart from what most environmentalists will say has been a cog in the wheel of progress instead of even oiling the country's machinery, and that's oil, what sectors can we now focus our attention on in a bid to now have this economic revitalization in the Niger Delta region, apart from oil?
Well, there's so much uproar, because for lack of nicer words, so much uproar about agriculture. However, my concern with agriculture and every one of us being induced to doing agriculture is that it's not all of us that likes farming. It's not everybody that has the interest, giftings, and wirings for agriculture. Again, there are a lot more other sectors that a person can look into. Again, there are institutions, both of government and international development agencies, that support virtually all the other sectors that there is that you may be interested in. So if an entrepreneur is interested in agriculture, oh yes, there is the possibility of support and of funding. But hey, telecoms, there is funding available for entertainment now. So if you're a movie producer, you have some music in you. Obi Franklin is somewhere here. He's looking for an artist in the area. So there are a lot more industries that an individual can look into. What has bothered me over the years, though, is the tendency for us as entrepreneurs to be distracted by trends. So we tend to want to go with what is supposedly popular not what is inborn that you can work out. And so for agriculture, for telecommunications, even the oil and gas space, there's still space in there for the average entrepreneur to look at. There is a lot still that needs to be done in entertainment. There's a lot that still needs to be done in mining. What is required of us as entrepreneurs, as CEOs, is the ability to be innovative and follow that thing that is yours, that is your passion. We all cannot do agriculture. There's a lot more to be done that will drive this economy in the Niger Delta forward.
All right, thank you very much. With the kind permission of the chairman of the occasion, we'd have to just take 2 or 3 questions. Now, each of these speakers, they would also have their time to let us more into what we're doing now. But for now, we'll just take questions, like 2 or 3 questions, and then we'll call this panel to a close. There's another panel afterwards, and like I said earlier, they would also have their times to present, their brief that they came to do here. So we can just take 2 questions, our panelists will answer, and then we'll call it a day on the panel. Thank you. So just raise up your hand, the microphone will be passed to you, you ask your questions, and then we'll call it a day, yeah. Please, the microphone, can someone get the microphone to?
There's another one there.
Okay, so that's the 2 of them. I think I have to do the job myself then.
My name is Sopanri Zetochi. I'm the founder of Topes Farms that just network local farmers with both individual and industrial consumers of their produce. I am a student also of Uniport. My question is, how can we as stakeholders in Niger Delta, both leaders and the followers, ensure that the policies that concern land usage is favorable to farmers? Because my own intention is to ensure that local farmers, as much as possible, go into mechanized farming. But then, the way we use land in this place is an inhibitor towards expansion. How do we, both as policymakers and those that are still being affected by this, ensure that these laws are favorable for large-scale farming? Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Azza. I'm a singer and OAP. And since you're in finance, my question is this. I've heard a lot that's been said here, and one thing struck me. Nobody talked about how we can use the little we have and increase it when nothing is coming to us. Because the environment where we live, we don't get so much from anybody. We are our own source of income. And so when we're not getting money from our parents, because some of us take care of ourselves, and then we're not getting money from the government, the little they give us, they put so much tariffs on it that we can't even pay back. How do we maximize the little we have, increase it to actually get enough to do all those things you're saying? Because farming is not cheap. I tried it.
So that's all. Let's.
All right. Okay. The young man there, thank you very much. And I think that, well, I strongly believe that agriculture is a way to go. And if you look at the 3 cardinal measures of any GDP around the world, is about agriculture, services, and industry. Industry including the manufacturing aspect. And within us in Nigeria, we have gaps basically in agriculture and industry. Later you try and appreciate that. And that critical point where you made the fact that, look, our land use acts, or the way our tenureship is traditional because it's where in my own community, the land is owned by my compound, and annually people are shared maybe 3 hectares, or no, 1 hectare to each woman that can go and farm. That is actually a very serious hindrance to expansion, especially in terms of moving agriculture from low investment or low productivity to high productivity, which is all about transformational economics. And I believe that we need to do a lot. That, again, we need to, one, do advocacy. And also, the little we have, we must show results. Because even if you are going to do any advocacy at your level, at any level, I believe that in as much as being a solution, even all of us in our little ways must be part of solution. So I don't think of government, think of corporate organizations. In our own little ways, you have experienced farming. Farming is not cheap, which I clearly understand. At times, I wonder, because the profitability of farming, the way we present it is as if you go into poultry tomorrow, you're a millionaire. It's not that cheap. It's very, very tough. And I feel that we should be advocates to help our mothers, our parents that are into farming, subsistence farming, that look, we have better opportunities in mechanized farming and also our tenure, land use tenure, so that we can have greater hectares. That is one. But that is at the aggregate and at the basal level. As people that have opportunities as policymakers, government workers, we could also leverage on our legislators and even the executive arm of government to see that we look into some of these issues of land tenureship for farming, where people just have each little portions of farm for individuals. For those that can do it, we need to maybe probably get into some form of legislation to see that we expand the scope of having farmland. I need to also contribute to the other question. I've had opportunity to support women with little monies. About 90% of women that I support with that little money, 6 months after, that does not exist. In fact, the business, I will have had opportunity of giving women maybe 250,000 for selling orange. 6 months after, the woman is back to poverty. Why? I thought it's because they mismanage it. But it is because we have an intrinsic problem. Our social safety net, our social protective system mechanism in this country is so bad. Because a woman that you give seed money of 250 to have a trade in orange will send a little child to school from the profit. If a child has malaria, she will send that child to the hospital and pay the hospital bills out of pocket from that business that you're giving to her. So making profit and expanding become a very, very equivalent tax. Therefore, there is need for us to look into our social protective mechanisms, our social safety nets that will leverage some of these extra expenses that do not need to encumber with businesses, small-scale businesses, so that they can thrive. I strongly think that we also need to do that consciously, both as individuals and at policy level. Our social safety net system need to be strengthened. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. To the lady, there are a few things I'm just going to say. First, a business that is just starting out and probably at its pre-idea startup or unvalidated state cannot solve your hunger problems. What I've realized over the years of consulting and financing businesses is, from an extension of what he said, small businesses want to solve all of their hunger problems with a small business that just started. So my first take will be, don't try to solve all your life problems with that small business that you are just starting. It requires a lot of time, perseverance, delayed gratification before you can even say that you're in business. I'll give you an example. So there was this guy who said he loved to sing. I loved to sell. I had 100,000 naira from a couple of books I had written and sold. So I took that 100,000 naira and we recorded, I think, 2 songs for Nimi back in the days. We recorded 2 songs locally in Yenegua, and we made local CD packs and put the CD packs, and we got singing engagements for him, and we began to push that work gradually. We didn't eat from that business. You cannot eat all the revenue, the profit. In fact, sometimes you don't even have profit yet. So for me, the issue will be, hold on. Have you been eating before you started this business? Please continue eating that way, whether you were begging or you were crying, but ensure that you don't kill this business that has just started with trying to get it to solve all of your hunger problems. You want to be the community chief with the small change that you are making from a business that needs to grow. Again, bootstrapping is in fact, the very first way by which you raise money is bootstrapping. Bootstrapping requires you to be very innovative. Bootstrapping is you closing your eyes to a lot of unnecessary discretionary expenses that from which you can save money and put into a business. You rightly said, my sister, there's not so much funds available from government, from banks, and all the other places, so you might need to save up. Well, saving is not easy, number one. Saving is not convenient, but saving you must do if you must start a business and fund it. You must learn to get away from the crowd, from the noise of what is trendy, and focus on the business. And put your heart to it to say that you want to grow this business. Hey, in my mind, there's nothing like a small business. It may be small now, but you need to have a big picture for where you want it to be. If Facebook was treated as, okay, it's a small business, we probably will never have it where it is now. If Amazon and Google were looked at as small businesses, they probably will never get to where they are now. So one other thing you would need to run your businesses effectively is continue to grow your capacity as a leader of a business. If you cannot manage 100,000 effectively, if it comes to you, whether in sales or somebody gives it to you as funding, you would filter that money away. You have to keep growing yourself as a leader of the business and the structures of the business to handle the kind of financing that you want. Enough said.
Thank you very much, Solomon King. On that note, with the kind permission of the chairman of the occasion, we would want to call this to a close. Solomon King is the CEO, Bars and Books. He's also the convener of the Money Conference in Yenegua. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you so much. The former Director General of the Nigerian Institute for Cultural Orientation, and presently the head of Department Theatre Arts, University of Africa, to Professor Barclay Sayako. Thank you so much for coming. And also politician and senior health consultant of the Family Care Hospital in Yenegua, Bayelsa State, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Buisibe. Thank you so much for being a part of this panel. I am Tukuwe Perry. I'll hand you over to the masters of ceremonies for the continuation of this program. Please keep your pens busy. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Perry Tukuwe. Perry Tukuwe is a vlogger. Perry, how do you call it? Is it vlogger or vlogger? Okay, so he's Bayelsa's first vlogger and an anchor or news reporter with AIT Yenegua, also radio presenter with Raypower 102.5 FM Yenegua. All right, now we're going to continue with the sessions with the speakers and get to learn more about economic revitalization for sustainable development as it applies to the Niger Delta region. Right now, I'd like to make welcome to the microphone a motivational speaker, a business coach, is the initiator of the free conference most of you must have heard about, held in Bayelsa last year. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jimmy Tower.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. First and foremost, can we appreciate every single person that has spoken to us this morning? Can we please do that very quickly? Thank you very much. I stand on existing protocols. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for still being here, even up until now. Thank you for everybody that has spoken and has added value. All right, so they're going to try to start out my slides quickly. You just bring up my system, and if you can use it directly, the slides are open there. But my name is Jimmy Tewe, and I'm proudly Niger Delta also, okay? So somebody says, where am I from? Who can guess where I'm from? Anybody? Anybody? Tewe. Bayelsa? Delta? Bayelsa. You are sure? It's not Bayelsa. Delta. Where else? Edo. Still going? Rivers. All right, let me help you. I'm from Ondo State, all right? Yes, I'm from Ondo State, a place called Okitibukpa. And of course, you know that 2000, that the Niger Delta was expanded to include Ondo State at that point in time. One of the things I think I've heard, so far from everybody is the fact that we really have a great opportunity, but for some reason we've not been able to, gain traction as a people. But I like how Ernest said it earlier, that what makes land is not the land itself, but the people that dwell in it. And I think that the biggest thing that is there, I was just thinking about it while sitting there, is the fact that while we have CEOs and at different levels, somebody says, oh, you two, you're a CEO because you're just the only person there. Well, yes, anybody that takes an initiative to provide value, either as a product or service to any organization, is actually worthy of being called the CEO. But I think that, and I'm going to leverage my presentation. Have you, all right? No password, all right, that's fine. Is that safe to say? It is, yes. Okay, so I think that the biggest thing that I see today is that while we're speaking about economic revitalization, I think that there's also some sort of internal revitalization that needs to happen with the people. And what I find out with businesses is the fact that I believe that companies are able to provide the kind of change that we need. Let me explain something to you. The truth about it is that if you take anybody from here somewhere else and you bring somebody from somewhere else here, after a while, what is inside of them will come outside. True or false? And therefore, the only way you achieve transformation is by being deliberate about building internal culture, being intentional about it. Now, I think organizations are very amazing because people spend more than 8 hours a day in an office, typically. Sometimes it's more than that. But we find out that many organizations, while they're fulfilling their corporate goals in terms of profitability, they miss out on the opportunity to help to transform people. When a lazy person comes to your office and after 6 months of being worked on, corrected, and encouraged, becomes a hardworking person, what you have done is not just change one person, you have changed his family also. And so, the premise I want to just focus on today, yes, please put that up, is I want to talk about, from an organizational point of view, what I call the most important asset in every organization. Anybody heard CEOs say that people are my most important asset? Anybody heard that before? How many people don't believe because they don't behave that way? True or false? In fact, sometimes the computer is more important than the person. Are we right? So I want to just add some value today, particularly from this perspective, to talk about the people that work in our businesses, because whether you like it or not, with the best ideas in technology, the best ideas, whether it's in farming or whatever. My father is a professor in animal science. He's always had a very big farm and the firstborn. So my destiny was meant to be a farmer, but I think I had another idea along the way. But till today, my father has challenges with the farm hands. Okay. And what I find out is that even while you might have informal workers, low-skilled workers, the fact about it is this, that if you don't build your people, you cannot build your company. You as a CEO cannot, you see, the company is as strong as the people that work in it. Now, what I find out is that many CEOs, unfortunately, are not able to scale their businesses because they don't have the skills to develop their people. What I see is that if our companies get better, our communities will get better. And if our communities get better, then our nation will get better ultimately. Now, please help me just go to the next slide very quickly. All right, okay, this is just skipped some of the clients we worked with. Go next slide. Now, very quickly, I want to take you through what I call 7 drivers of business productivity. Like the senator said earlier, you set up a business to make profits. True of us. Except it's a not-for-profit business. And so you have to be able to look at your business and say, how well am I doing along these 7 key drivers? The first one, go ahead, is providing an enabling business environment. Now, a lot has been said in that regard. We can't do anything, but the truth is that the primary responsibility of government is to provide an enabling business environment. And so the office of the vice president is doing a lot in terms of the ease of doing business, okay? Nigeria is rating better, but we still have a long way to go. The truth is this, that if your communities are conducive, people relocate to your place and we bring money with them. And so the fund, I'm not going to overflog that, we've spoken about that, enabling business environment. The second driver is a real business need. Let me say this to you, there are people that might be here in this category. There are many businesses that are not around business needs. And what I mean by business is this. Take, for example, Ubi spoke about, somebody in California selling, afang and all that. Now, that person is doing that only because there are enough Nigerians there to sell to. There are people that have businesses around their passion, but there's not enough customers for that business. That is not a real business need. And so you'll be struggling hard trying to mine coal when there's no coal there. And so you should be honest with yourself as a CEO, because you see, I've seen people that are very passionate. You see, passion, the word passion, the etymology of that word means to suffer. It's a capacity, it comes from the passion of the Christ. That's what it is. So passion makes you have capacity to suffer. You just might suffer for the wrong thing. Are we together? Business means that there's opportunity to make profit. So check your business whether it's a real business need. The third thing is effective business in solution. In other words, you found the need, but you have a real solution, either a product or a service. That is pretty clear to us. Number 4 is business systems for solution delivery. Every business must have systems. Your body functions by systems. Digestive, respiratory, excretory, circulatory, nervous system, and all that. It is the combination of all of these systems working together that enable growth. So business growth is because your systems are effective. Many people, you see, don't ever treat yourself as a small company. I like what my brother said earlier. You are not a small company, you are a big company that started small. So you don't grow to do what is right, you do what is right to grow. So check your business systems whether they're effective. Number 5 is what I call the profitability model. A lot of people are making money, but they're not making profit. You have to be honest with yourself. In fact, tax is calculated based on what? Profit. So you must be able to tell yourself, because you see, most businesses is still the CEO that has access to the account, that signs everything. And once you can have money, you think you're in business. You might be bleeding yourself dry. How profitable are you as a business? You must be able to know that, okay? The 6th one is customer relationship management, because they say customer is king. The more customers you have, the more you're able to retain them. I'm not going to go into details about this. The better your business will be at the end of the day. The last one is where I'm going to. Competent and committed people. Competent. And my background, I have a background in human resource management. I worked in some companies. I was head of recruitment for UBA, Bank PHP, did learning and development, performance management. So I've been around this space a bit, and I understand that while you might have the best computers, somebody must operate it. You might have the best car, somebody must drive it. Before we have driverless cars. Am I right? Yes. So at the end of the day, one of the key secrets to success in your business is the kind of people you have in that business. Now, next slide, I have a quote there. And it says here that no matter how sophisticated our processes, procedures, policies, and technologies are, at the end of the day, our output as an organization is largely determined by the quality of the people driving daily business activities. Many of you have your cousin that is running your business and running it down. And the reason why is because he doesn't have a job. I don't recruit somebody that does not have a job to come, and you must be able to add value. Be very, you see, in business is meant to be non-emotional, very rational. You add value, I add value. You don't add value, I let you go. Please be honest with yourselves, because you see, if your business does not grow, the collective growth of the Niger Delta is at risk. And that's why I'm just sharing these hard truths today. Next slide, please. So 5 quick common people challenges we probably face as CEOs, particularly from this area. The first one is attracting staff with capacity. People that are good want to go to Lagos. True of us. Exactly. So how do we get people from Lagos to come to Port Harcourt, to come to Bayelsa, and all that? And that's one of the major challenges. The second challenge we have is compensation competitiveness. In other words, how much do you pay? Am I right? A young lady came to one of my friends, head of HR in a company, and she just finished university, going to wait for NYSC, and her uncle suggested to the head of HR, can you please give her an opportunity to intern? And he says, let her come for an interview. So she comes there, and he asks her and says to her that, we pay a little stipend, but he just said, let me just ask, how much would you like to collect? Her stipend, she says, 250,000 naira per month. And so he thinks he's joking, so he's like, you're joking, right? She says, no, I know my worth. Which worth? 250,000 naira. Now, if she had worth that was backed up to say, I have this certification, I can do this, I can add value, that is worth at the end of the day. All right? And so competition is a challenge for us because our business is still growing. I mean, there are some companies that if to collect 250,000, or you would say yourself, me as a CEO, I will resign. I will come and take 250,000 naira. All right? Number 3 is talent retention. We have transit states. The young people in our Niger Delta are planning to relocate to Abuja and to Lagos. True of us. It's a reality. And that means that our potential labor force is planning to go. And so if we are not doing something intentional, we are not going to have the right people to drive the business. The 5th one is staff commitment. There are people that go to work and don't work. I hope you know. It's a big problem. And many of us hire them. We pay 100% salary for 20% output. That's bad business. How do you improve that? I'll talk about that in a minute. And what I want to do in my session, because I know that we've spoken from different ends, is just to share with you as a CEO, because outside that door is your real life. I hope you know that. If you are owing money to the bank, they are waiting outside. Am I right? So I must share something with you that you can implement starting on Monday. Is that fine? Okay. The last one is leadership capacity deficit. Go back. Leadership capacity deficit. Look, if what the ultimate test of a business is if you step away from the business for a month, will it still exist? Yes. Cake business is not making cakes, it's selling cakes, by the way. You see, you have to think like a businessman. Most people in business are creators, but in business, it's not creating that matters, it's selling. The man that produces tomatoes is always usually poorer than the guy selling it. Business is selling. This is production. Are we together? And so you have to be able to think from that perspective. Because a lot of people, I suffered in my business. By design, I'm a creator. I get excited when I make new things. But at the end of the month, there's no money. I have to change my mindset. There are people here that say, oh, Jimmy, I cannot sell. Why are you in business? Business is about selling. And the truth is that anybody can sell. The reason why you cannot sell is because you told yourself you're shy. Can I tell you something? I share this everywhere. That shyness is a psychological defect. Stop saying I'm shy. Shy say I'm psychologically defective. Maybe you'll be okay. All right? I'm just kidding. You're looking at me, right? But you know something? You see, if a person is shy, they will see their money walking, but they'll be too shy to collect it. So stop doing that yourself. When you walked in here, no, they did not write shy on your head. So why are you acting shy? Are we together? Tell somebody now I'm bold. I'm bold, all right? Now, let's quickly wrap this up. Okay, next slide. So what I want to do with it is that if you go back to the previous slide, the first two are attracting staff with capacity. The next one is compensation competitiveness. So what do you do? How do I attract staff with capacity? Number 2, compensation competitiveness. How do I address that? I can't address all the other ones right now. All right, let's go. Next slide. I'm almost through. The first one is your talent pipeline management. In other words, how do I get people to come into my business to grow it? First thing is recruit right. Click it, please. Recruit right. Ladies and gentlemen, no matter how small your business is, you must have a recruitment process. Never just recruit people based on pressure. Because if you bring a thief to your company, he will steal. If you bring a lazy person, they will not change on Monday morning. Who they are is what they will do. So treat your company. Can you imagine and say, my baby is only 1 month old. It's still 1 month. There's no big deal. Anybody can take care. Do you allow anybody to touch your baby? So why are you letting them do that to your business? Your uncle calls you and says, your brother in the village doesn't have a job. Oh, I heard that you're looking for people. Can I send him tomorrow? Send him to do a test. He must pass the test. And if he fails the test, say, uncle, he failed. Can he come in 3 months and try again? And I can tell you that he will not come back. They might not like you, but when you start sending money to them, they will be okay with you. Please be careful about this. Recruit, right? Next point is create internship programs. There are a lot of young people that say, can I come and intern? That's fine. Have a system. Are there processes around your business that you can say, this part of it, I want to just outsource? And train your interns. Every customer that comes to your company and has a bad experience does not say it was the intern, he says it's the company. So don't just say, receive on Monday. Auntie, what do I do? Go on. No. When they arrive there's work that they're coming to do. Is that clear? Please treat your businesses right. That's the way it's going to go. I'm just trying to rush. University scholarship programs. Do you know that if you had 250,000 naira and you went to some departments in some universities and created a scholarship, they will allow you to pick some of the best students there? I'm telling you. As simple as that is. And what that has done is that out of everybody that is potential, you've gotten the cream of the crop. I mean, KPMG has been doing that for donkey years. And I remember when I was in university, I didn't scale because my grades were initially not good. I eventually caught up. But those days, you have a 2-1 or first class to get into KPMG. Once you do that, you come and do the test on campus. Now, someone says, I'm not KPMG, I am PPMK. It's fine. Just know, how do you package your business? Because let me say this to you also. I had a training last week with CEOs in Lagos. And one of the things we found out is that many of our staff, not all our staff are driven by money. There's a basic amount of money that they require to live, but some people are looking for much more. So it's not always salary. And as a CEO, you need to understand how people function so that you can utilize that knowledge in driving your people. I have staff that I worked with for 9 years, for 6 years, and I'm not paying them out of the roof yet. I do things to encourage them. Are we together? Because as a business, I'm not going to pay money that I cannot afford. Are we together? Yes. So you must think creatively around this. So university scholarship programs, learning solutions. How do you train people? Somebody says, oh, these people, if I train them, they will leave me. If you don't train them, they will stay. Think about it. And they will stay with their ignorance. You know, a lot of young businesses don't train people because they will tell you that if I train them, that's how they will leave. If they don't leave, their ignorance will stay with you. So training is just required. So think innovatively about how to train. Today you have YouTube videos. You can sit down and watch a YouTube video, discuss, have your processes documented. Ladies and gentlemen, no matter how small your business is, be disciplined. Have your processes documented. You know what happens many times? Somebody will come, work in your company, you have a bakery, the guy resigns, we will start from the beginning all over again. There's no document that shows what we're doing. You have not institutionalized your business. Please accept you just want, there are people that are in business just to make money to survive. I'm talking about people that want to build businesses. Is there anybody like that here? Thank you. All right. The last one under talent pipeline management is vision, communication, and transparency. What I mean by that is that people stay around vision. When you can say, look, in 6 months, we are going to, those things connect a lot with people. The next part is transparency. When you are growing your business and you say there's no salary, but you are buying a brand new car, you cannot have commitment. When you, I think I put it somewhere, okay, under compensation strategy. Let me go to that quickly. The first one is market positioning. You might decide to come at the bottom of, the market. I'm not paying a lot. When you're not paying a lot of cash, you must have many other benefits. My staff don't come to work 5 days a week. They come to work 3 days a week. There's a company called Andela. I'm sure you know them. Andela staff are not required to come to work. One of them told me, he said, I go to work when I'm bored, when I want to see human beings. His office is on the internet. They give them the end, and 2 weeks you must submit. That's what you do, because you are coding. You don't need to enter traffic in Lagos, and then you go all the way. What traffic in Lagos? There's traffic here too. I saw traffic when I was coming yesterday. Yes. And sometimes you have to change your work models. I looked at my work model and said, in fact, my ultimate goal is that I don't see my staff. Sometimes there's a problem. Let me sit there for staff meeting, review of performance, and we move on. Guess what? It's cheaper because I don't have to do diesel. Yeah, you have to think creatively around these things. Okay? Contract integrity. If you say you will pay them salary, pay them. One of the biggest problems with SMEs in Nigeria is that they don't pay salary. Or they don't even pay it on time. And when they don't pay it on time, they don't tell them that you will not pay it on time. Please, no matter how small your business is, if you are paying 8K, make sure you pay on the 27th, you said. And if it's going to move, communicate to them that due to operational reasons, that's what they say in aircraft, due to operational reasons, the salary will not come this day, it will come this day. People need to plan. The moment you start breaking what they call a psychological contract, people are about to leave you. Good people might be about to leave you. Benefit options, like I said, think about different things. I have a friend that has, things around credit, transportation, different things. Think creatively. The whole idea is that what can I do with the resources I have that can be of benefit to these people? I'm hurrying because I want to keep time. Full staff versus contract staff. I don't have full staff. Can I tell you how many staff I have with my business? Full-time staff, 3. Most of my projects are projects. So when the project comes, I have people that are consultants and I bring on board. We implement the project. When we are through, I pay them and I move on. Why keep people and have an office where you come here and people say, welcome, sir? It's just lack of self-esteem. That's the problem. Many times, let's be very honest. Am I right? Yes. No. Tell me welcome with results. Are we good? Tell me welcome in money. The last one, second last, is a performance-based reward system. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't create a system that lets you know who is working and who is not working, you will have politics in your office. People will say it's because he likes her. It's because he likes him. But when we said everybody make 90,000 this month, you made 70,000, your result is clear, 7 divided by 9. You made 30,000, 30 divided by 9, or 90. So that when I promote 70 divided by 9, you knew that we said this at the beginning. When things are not clear, you make room for assumptions. And when you have assumptions, you will have politics. Are we together? Now, politics is not bad, but office politics can distract you from the core business. The last point, I think, is what I call a vested shareholding. Now, many of you are not at the stage where you want to think about that, but maybe it's better to prepare for something before you need it. The idea about a vested shareholding is that many of us want to hold 100% of our shares, and that's beautiful to do that. But you see, if you are planning to build an institution long-term, you must begin to think about the fact that the guy that is working with you will retire one day. He doesn't want to retire and go with a gold-plated wristwatch and wall clock. That's what he's looking for. He wants to say, I worked with you for 30 years, and I got 2% shareholding, meaning I don't have to suffer for the rest of my life with this sacrifice I've made. So I want to encourage you, go and check about vested shareholding, and from there you can learn. All right? I think I'm through. The last slide. In conclusion, I read this from a Harvard Business Review. Click once. Hold on. And when I read this, I was a bit startled because I came here and said to you today that people are your greatest asset. According to the Harvard Business Review, people are not your greatest asset. What is it? Look at what it says. Next. It says, how you empower your people is the greatest asset you have. You are the chief HR officer of your company. I hope you know that. And the truth about it is that people respond to your leadership. If you're a wicked person, people don't like to stay with you. There's a research that shows that when you force people to work, the best capacity you can get out of them is 30% of their potential. The remaining 70% is left when you influence them and willingly. That's when they will stay with you to 9 p.m. They will come on Saturday, come on Sunday. It is the way you treat them that will make them also treat you likewise. All right? So I think that's pretty much the end. Last slide. So thank you very much. All right? Now, I think I put something there. I have an ebook that I've not released, but this one, when I was preparing, as I said, I was going to release that, okay? So it's about cracking the people code for CEOs, because I'm very passionate about building businesses, and we cannot do that if we're not building our people intentionally. So if you send an email to this, all right, that way we can get, we'll send you the ebook. It will come out this week, and then that way you'll see a few things that are practical. Life is practical. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to make this money. Thank you very much. Have an amazing day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jimmy Tower. That was a wonderful presentation. All right, can you go back to the slide? I'm sure they want to see the email address, which I think is info@jimmytower.org.org. Am I right, sir? So the email address is info@jimmytewe, that's info at JIMICEWE.org. That's the email address. Thank you very much. As we continue, I would like to recognize the presence of Honorable Wilson Ayakpo. Is the former CEO, the Wilson-based Nigeria Limited, and currently a minority leader at the Bayelsa State House of Assembly. You're welcome, sir. Okay, I think he's somewhere around. I also like to recognize the presence of a veteran actress and a beauty queen. She will be sitting on the next panel. Ladies and gentlemen, Ibinabu Fibresima. You guys are not clapping. And we're taking a short video. A wonderful young female Bielson who's doing wonderfully well in the agricultural sector. She is inspiring. She has a farm that would inspire you to go into farming if you wish to. We'll play that video shortly. But while we're trying to get that, her name is Dobra Angaye, and the name of the farm is Fiasco Farm. Can we get it from the beginning? Also like to let you know that there'll be a session for question and answers. You can ask questions to the speakers and they will provide you answers. We'll get to that session as we proceed. And before we go to the next speaker, I would like to welcome briefly, just to remind you also that we have the CEO, Mr. Kennedy Nnamdi, the CEO of Pene Group, Mr. Kennedy Nnamdi, will be speaking to us shortly. We also have still waiting Moses Siloko Siasia of Mosilo Group, and of course the Honorable Commissioner for Youth Development in Bayelsa State, Engineer Odenks Eradiri, and a host of others will be speaking to us in this event. But before we continue, I would like to welcome once more the chairman of this event, Senator Oinekin Lokpobiri, for his remark before he leaves. Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, once again for the opportunity. I ordinarily use glasses, but this morning when I came in, I forgot to bring out my glasses to use. And I think that was a good miracle, that I have, a better sight today because, I'm in the midst of CEOs. It's been very, very wonderful, being in the midst of, CEOs. It's been very educating, having been given the opportunity, to listen to, the very, very erudite, presentation by, those who have spoken today. Particularly thrilled by, Jimmy Tewe. I thought you are from, Edo State, Gile part of Edo State, but I'm happy, that you are a Niger Delta, from Ondo State. Chairman, I felt that, it would be nice for me to just leave, without thanking you, once again, and encouraging you to please continue with the program and make the best, use of it. And I was talking to Timmy that, it will be important, absolutely imperative for us to stay focused on the objective of this CEO summit so that we don't lose focus. But if, if you want to follow, the way some people speak so that people can clap, you will end up leaving here without getting any concrete thing to go. I'm not a CEO, but I've learned so much from, Professor Brisby. I've learned so much from Timmy, Jimmy Tewe, all that he had said. I have a good memory, so I will shock him that I've crammed everything that he said here today. And that was why I feel that, instead of quietly living, it's important that I thank, you people for finding time, to come. And please, always make the best, use of this platform. Having said that, it is important that, we clear a few, issues which, as far as I'm concerned, are outside the focus of this platform. But I would have loved this boy, to be here, if he were to be here, so that he would have agreed with me that the most popular people are not the politicians. He made a statement that the politicians in the Niger Delta are the most popular. And he said he just got to know about me a few days ago. I was speaker in 1999. I was a senator for 8 years. I've been minister. I left office 3 weeks ago. If politicians are the most popular, he would have known me before now. So I just wanted him to know that, look, sometimes it is not true. Some of these things may not be true. And I believe that, some people have spoken very well. Everybody here has spoken very well. And I'm not ordinarily, an agriculturist. I became minister in the Ministry of Agriculture by the indulgence of, Mr. President. And if those who were here when I spoke, could remember, I said not everybody needs to be a farmer. Not everybody needs to be a farmer. If you look at those who are into aquaculture, those who are into fish farming, those who are actually breeding the fish get only 20% of the value. Those who make more of the money are those who are smoking it, preserving it, packaging it, and selling it. And that was why I said, look, let us look at not just the planting, but the entire value chain. And I remember that I used the words of, aggregation, storage, processing, marketing, branding, and all the grammar that, I could know. And so I want people to, live here clearly, with the message that I said, that I'm not asking everybody to go into farming. I may not go into farming, but I do know that there are so many value chains. And if you look at the volume of exports all over the world, agro exports bring much more money than petroleum sector. It brings more money, than the way you and I know. And it could be perhaps the simplest way for us to also solve some of our problems. Somebody said here that, the reason why, we have more restiveness is because there are no jobs to do. Yeah, that is true. But if you go, to some parts of the country, go to Kebbi State, the states where there are more rice farmers, there is less insecurity. If you go to Zamfara, there is more insecurity because the people are not doing what Kebbi is doing. But what is the governor of Kebbi doing? The governor of Kebbi went to Central Bank, got money from Central Bank, gave this thing, to Kebbi people to go and farm. He cleared the land for them, distributed the land for them, gave this money to them by way of loans, not cash, except 15%. He gave the rest in the form of imputes. And he told them, once your rice is matured for harvest, I'm buying them. So you have a guaranteed market. And you have 15%. If in between you have a problem that you want to solve, they can estimate, your yield per hectare. So, okay, what you are going to get from this hectare is 10 tons. 10 tons, a ton of rice could be 100,000, which means you're going to get $1 million. If you have a problem of 200,000, there's an arrangement with a bank that can give you a loan to say, look, give this man. Our rice matures in 90 days. And so, as at today, in Kebbi State, from those poor people, we have over 400,000 millionaires from rice farming alone. This is not magic. They are not as educated as the Niger Delta people. And so I don't want everybody to go into farming. Some people can go into farming. Others should go into businesses related to agriculture, in addition to your normal businesses that you are doing. That is what I'm saying. And I just dropped that for, you the CEOs to also, think about, one of the options to revitalize the economy, of the Niger Delta. And I believe that, at the end of today, all of us will leave here with better ideas. I too am living here with better ideas. I own a farm in Abuja. I'm trying to do a big farm in Bayelsa. And any day I go to my farm, I live there happier. I spend the whole day in the farm. When I get back home, I sleep like a baby. But everything I need from my fish, I have a cow in my farm that weighs maybe 600, very heavy. It's a bull. It eats up everything, But I'm happy. Any day I go there, and I feed the bull, get some milk and all that. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our chairman, I want to thank you for giving me the special privilege of talking again. And I believe that even if I leave, whatever that is going to be discussed after I had left will be recorded so that I will have the privilege of, listening to it, so that I can learn a lot more, from what happened here today. And I want to encourage the organizers of this program to please, make it, try and sustain this program and possibly move it from state to state so that other states can also benefit, from. Let it not be only a presidential hotel affair. Go to Bayelsa, go to Ondo State, go to, Akwa Ibom, so that CEOs, will have the opportunity of going around, the Niger Delta. So once again, thank you very much for the opportunity. And please, you are doing a good job. And I pray that God, will give you, the privilege. And perhaps sometime you will have the funding to be able to make it a permanent thing. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you please give him another round of applause as he takes his leave? Senator Enikin Lokpoberi is the immediate past Minister of State for Agriculture, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Soliciting for a card from Mr. Jimmy Tower, also a former Speaker of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, give it up for Senator Enikin Lokpoberi. All right, we promise you we're moving very fast. In no time, we'll be leaving this building. But before we move to the next speaker, I would like to invite one of our sponsors for the Niger Delta CEO Summit 2019, the First City Monument Bank, FCMB. I hope I got that right. Okay, FCMB is a major sponsor for this event this year. And for the next 5 minutes, I would like to invite, I didn't say it well, First City Monument Bank. Did I get it right now? Okay. All right, so I would like to invite Ms. Francisca Orike from FCMB for the next 5 minutes. They'll tell us about some of their products and services.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm standing on, permit me to stand on existing protocol. My name is Francisca Orike. I work with First City Monument Bank Limited, and I manage one of the branches, Abuloma branch, precisely. We've heard so much from, we've gained so much, even me personally. This particular program and summit has really impacted positively on me, and I must also share my experience with you. Before my slides come up, I want to say something here. Growing up as a young girl, I wanted to impact on the society. And I told myself that I will be part of the people that bring change to Nigeria because I believe so much in my country. I believe so much in Niger Delta. And as a young girl, I got a banking job. I grew through the ladder of banking, starting from the level entry. I grew, and today, by the special grace of God, I manage one of the branches of my bank. And I want to say something. Even as a manager, I said, it's not just, banking now is not all about, collecting your money to put in an account and you come and we check your balance. I said, even in my own small space, I must impact on lives. And I want to tell you happily that since I came to that branch, I've been able to impact positively on businesses. In fact, I have a particular customer that I started with. I managed his personal account, And today I can tell you that through the agricultural product loans, I was able to give the customer, I availed about 40 million to this customer, and the customer is doing very well. When I mean doing very well, I opened his business account, we availed him an agric loan, and today the customer is very happy with the bank. And he's thinking of expanding. So for me, I want to add value. And for FCMB, I've been in FCMB now for over 12 years. In fact, I started with them since 2007. And I've watched the bank grow. And I must tell you something. I see a lot of young people here. We have a lot of ideas. But the issue is access to finance. And I can tell you something. They said something here that we have a lot of agricultural programs in the country that they can even give you at competitive rates. It's actually live. It's real. And I can attest to that. I'm not telling you because I'm a staff of FCMB. I'm telling you because I've availed such loans at very competitive rates. And for the very young ones, they will tell you, yes, you come. They will tell you, I don't meet the requirements in terms of collateral. Fine, we know that there are some young people that might not have properties that have good titles. In FCMB, we have a lot of products that can actually take care of you. We have a lot of small and medium enterprise businesses where we can give traders as much as 5 million. We give it to you to trade for 3 months, you return back. You can actually collect that money for up to 4 times in a year to expand your business. Okay, are we good to go? Okay, for FCMB, I wanted to also say something on agricultural value chains. In FCMB right now, we're doing a lot with Bank of Industry. We're also doing a lot with Development Bank of Nigeria. In fact, as at last week, we availed a lot of loans, even in my own branch, to customers that want to expand. So it is real. It is not just on paper. We are here to impact on lives. And I can tell you that when you come on board this particular bank, we're going to impact on your business positively. I believe so much in Niger Delta. I want to stay in Port Harcourt. I want to grow businesses in Niger Delta, and that's why we're here. So for FCMB Premium Banking, we also know that CEOs, they have their own personal needs. Yes, we know. As a CEO, we have a lot of things for you in the bank. And I want to run through the slides that we have here. We know about FCMB history. I don't want to say that because we are not given enough time. But for me, when you check what we have in terms of banking services that we render, we have savings account with 0 maintenance fee that you can run comfortably well in FCMB. We also have premium current accounts. Yes, we know that current accounts have charges, but in FCMB, we have premium current accounts that if you maintain a particular balance, the bank will not charge you account maintenance fee, and you can run it comfortably well in FCMB. In terms of domiciliary account, we have a lot of different types of domiciliary accounts that we don't charge you withdrawal charges. It's also available in FCMB. We also issue instant cards on our domiciliary account in our various branches, and you can actually enjoy that, and it adds value to you. When you want to travel out of this country, just inform the bank. They open it up for online transactions, and you can transact on such cards seamlessly. Seamlessly. Then we talk about our loans. I started with loans because that's what people want to hear. When I go to market people, I tell you, I don't want to come and tell you, oh, come and bring your 50,000 naira, come and bring your 50 million to come and deposit in the bank. Fine, people have money, but they want returns for their money. They want to be able to turn around their money for the money to at least bring profit. So in FCMB, we can give you overdrafts. We do term loans. We even have mortgages. We recently launched a bank in the UK that we can give you mortgages, give you money to buy properties and let out those properties and have returns on those properties. It's live in FCMB. Ask us about it. We have our premium banking desk in Transamadi too, where you can, we have dedicated bankers that you can actually ask questions and they will pull you through. Then for our cards, we have our Naira debit cards. We have our foreign currency debit cards, just like I said, that you can withdraw up to 10,000 daily from that. We have our credit cards. For credit cards in FCMB right now, the only credit cards we have are cash backed. You have an investment, let's say you have an investment of 2 million that is yielding an interest. Upon that investment, the bank can actually give you a credit card where you have need to run 1 or 2 things while your investment is running in the bank, and you just pay little charge for it. Very, very good one. I've had instances where I've given customers credit cards based on their investment. Then for our premium banking, we have all the lists. They're all here. In our premium savings account, we pay you interest up to 4% on the free monies you leave in your account, which is not gotten anywhere. We've had instances where people leave funds in savings account and they don't earn 1 naira. In FCMB, if you leave your funds in a premium savings account, you earn up to 4% interest rate. We have third-party withdrawals across the counter. We allow you to do that. You can actually lodge in clearing checks into your premium accounts, savings account, and it goes through. We also have platinum cards. The platinum card is a very good one. In platinum cards, we give you access to get some certain limits in your cards and priority pass when you're traveling out without even flying a business class. You can have access to that. Then the last thing I want to say here, if we run through, I know we don't have time, is actually on our, I want you to go to where we have the discount on the flights for our premium customers. The bank over time has been able to approach some certain airlines that we know that a lot of our people, when they travel, you know, you can actually get, as a customer of FCMB, get discounts up to 30% when you fly some certain airlines as an FCMB customer. It is live. We talk about the Virgin Atlantic, Etihad, Delta Airlines. They are live. Once you're an FCMB customer, they can give you discount as much as 30% when you want to travel out. It's also there. Then we also know that some companies that are coming up have issues with insurance. We also have such products in FCMB. I don't know whether you can go to that particular slide. We have discounted healthcare services with Hajia and Avon. Very, very, very competitive and very good. So you can come to FCMB. We are here live if you want to know more, you know, to offer such services. And I want to say something before we close. I know I don't have enough time. Please give us the opportunity to add value to your business. We are here live. Whether you're starting small as a small and medium enterprise, whether you're a business banking customer, whatever it is, or you're agri-related, we can actually impact on your business. So come to us. We are open. We have our various branches that you can approach. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Francisca. All right, so if you want more information, you can visit them just behind the other decks there. I have 2 accounts with FCMB, so go and open one. But the 2 accounts are empty, Sha. All right, if you're standing behind, there are some vacant seats in front. You can come occupy them as we move forward. I promise you would leave here very shortly. We still have some wonderful speakers that you would need to listen to. We have the Honorable Commissioner for Youth Development, Engineer Udenk Raduri from Bayelsa State, Moses Siasia, the CEO of Mosilo Group. But before I call on them, I would like to invite one of our sponsors again for this event, the CEO of Pene Group, for his speech. I'd like to invite to the microphone Mr. Kennedy Nadi. Ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, everyone. You just told me to do 15 minutes, but I'm sure I don't even want to do up to 15 minutes. 10 minutes is okay for us to go to whatever we want to go to. Is my slides ready? Just tap your neighbor and then get to know their names while they're doing that. My name is Kennedy Nadi. I'm the CEO of Penec Nigeria. I do business in Lagos. I'm a developer. I build houses for average people, not for the HNIs. All right, so let's get to know ourselves, all right? Just get to know yourself, and then about 5 people, just know their names and let's flow. Yeah. You may want to ask what they are doing. What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? All right. Okay, so did you get to see any thief around you, any kidnapper? Did anybody say he's a kidnapper? Are you sure? Okay, all right. So part of what I do as a developer is that most times you get designs and you want to stick to it. I look at the demographic here and I know that most of us here are CEOs, but we have some people that want to go into business also. So most times, what we may have to say may not go directly to what you have in mind. But one thing you must have as a takeaway is write some things down. The worst things that will happen is that you're in this kind of program and then you don't have anything written down. So I want to see a lot of people have some little pen to put down some things. It's very, very necessary. The place where we found ourselves today is that they will always tell you you want to hide anything from an African, put it into a book, because you know they will find it difficult to open up that book to see. Okay, all right. So the theme of the year, sustainable development. So you want to ask someone, what are you sustaining, and what are you developing? Okay, what are you sustaining and what are you developing? These things must be out of what you're doing and not just what you want to do. It's either you're building something and you want to sustain what you've built. Okay, all right. So I've been able to put next slide. Yeah. Sustainability in simple terms means meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their needs. All right. So you find a lot of people do businesses and then you want to stop the ones that are coming up. I don't want to give us some names, but if you know certain businesses that they are the top range of their business, and then because you have younger ones, you want to also stop them, that is also not a good way. But if you have businesses like we have the electric cars coming up, and someone is telling you we need to keep our oils, you don't need to get these electric cars into Nigeria, then you're probably stopping those ones because it will get to us and then we will lag behind. All right. So what I see as a sustainability is that you're sustaining what is key, what you've seen as change coming in. A developing company, a developing country, a developing city. I come from Imo State, and I'm sure Imo State is part of NDDC. And if you see what we've seen over the years in NDDC, a lot of people have been able to say the security issues, the undeveloped parts of the country, but we give the much more money to the nation. Am I right? Yeah, the most of the income that this country gets is from oil, right? And why is this place not developing? I would have loved the politicians, I mean, the ones we know. I know Senator Enikin. I would have loved them to be here while we discuss most of the things. Most times I try to ask most of these politicians that are in place of power, in the top range of place of power, what are you guys putting down for us? If you discuss with people outside this country, they want to tell you what they will do in the next 5 years or their vision for their state or for their country. But here we have a 4 years that is not well defined. So most politicians go into office and you have 4 years that you cannot really say what they want to do. You will just see them say, I want to build houses. There's no number that you can look at. And so I like to look at those things and then we can have a synergy. We can say, this is what we want to do. This is what the CEOs and the entrepreneurs want to do. This is what the government is saying. If the government comes out and say they want to do 2,000 houses, you want to build 2,000 entrepreneurs, then we can look towards that and plan towards that. But when you have a government that do not have a well-laid plan, we will just be doing businesses the way we want. Okay, so next slide, please. All right, so the public sector that I want to look in is I do business in real estate, and it's very key that whatever you do, you must put in place government sector, the public sector, because that will drive your vision. That will drive whatever you want to do. All right, so if you have a public, I'm past that. If you have a public sector in your sector, I mean in your industry, and there's no synergy, if the government says this is what we want to do, and you do not follow in line, you probably not make any money from it. All right, and then if you have to do whatever you want to do, 3 things I want you to take away from whatever we're discussing today is that you must have the vision laid out for yourself. All right, you must have the goals that you want to meet. Okay, and then you must go out to learn certain things. I see a lot of entrepreneurs down here, and then I see that we don't usually go out to learn. All right, so the vision is very key. I have a vision that in the next 4 or 5 years, this is what I want to do in Penic. And this is what I need many of us to do down. Write it down and say, this is what you want to do. You know, it doesn't matter what government comes in play. I mean, APC, PDP, whoever that is in place. You have a vision laid down for yourself. You have your goals that you want to meet. and then you have that thing that you want to learn. You want to go into this business, you go to learn, or you go to places that you learn more about those businesses, and then you can strive. All right. A little bit history about Penec. We build houses in Lagos. We're coming into Port Harcourt, but already in Abuja, and then we have most of it on the southeast. And what we do is meet average guys and understand what are their plans. We don't build for the HNIs. We don't build for the guys that, you can't reach. The average guys that make the average money. And that is what we look at. And most times you want to plan according to your inflow. All right, that is our policy, that's our strategy. So we sit down with you and want to say, hey, this is what you earn, this is what you can do for your house, this is what you can give out for your houses. And then before you know it, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, you own your house. All right, this is just our plan. And you may want to look into your own kind of business and plan a strategy that will work for you, and plan something that would be there for you over the years. I hope with just these little few points of mine, I've been able to convince someone that will explore and that will make this NDDC Niger Delta region better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy, for that time management. Other speakers, please emulate. I would like to announce to you also that there are certificates to collect for. There are certificates for this event. You can pick them outside at a very, very affordable fee. Do you understand? You should smile now. What's happening now? Abba. Now the fine rice. The price. Very, very affordable. It's just for CEOs like you, just 1.5. Understand? Just a certificate to show that you attended this event. All right, I would like to, before we go into question and answer session, I would like to invite one of the most vibrant young people I've ever met in my life. For the next 10 minutes, we'll be listening to this man. He's got lots of experience in politics and leadership, and he runs a business. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Commissioner, Youth Development, Bayelsa State, and the former IYC President, Engineer Udengs Eradiri.
Thank you. Well, standing on existing protocols. First of all, I want to welcome you guys to this event and say that I'm proud to be with you, young CEOs of the Niger Delta. We need to tell our story. And it's not enough to hear what the media talks about our people. And so when I see young people who try to put people together like this, I want to commend them. So Ernest Ogwe and your team, I commend you. Let's clap for them. Forget about the politics that they're about to play with this, your event. An incompetent essay to an MD wrote that nonsense. I know the MD. I'm sure he didn't read it. That comes to quality of young people. Sometimes they say, not too young to run. I don't believe in it. I always ask, what is the quality of the young person? We have governors who are young people that are a disgrace to leadership. We have young people who are in offices. Look at this kind of event. I'm commissioner for youths in Bayelsa. I support this kind of events. That's why I'm here. Because as former IYC president, I stood to challenge the institutions. And now that I'm in office, how do I work to see how young people that have quality can add value to society? That's why I'm here. I'm not here because of PDP or APC. I worked on the streets for the creation of NDDC. Some of the things we are talking here is because NDDC should have been doing their bit. Somebody asked a question. A young girl asked a question here. How do we leverage on the opportunity here? Young businesses. I run a business. I didn't go into politics because I want to do politics or earn a living from it. I earn a living legitimately from engineering. I run my own company. So I'm here to learn. And I've learned a lot from people like Jimmy Tewe and this other young man, Idu. I'm happy that I came here. Even if it is just you I came to meet. The others, I know them, Prof. We fraternize. My sister, we know you. But I'm not happy that We are going this route. I was robbed in New York. I've never been robbed in Bayelsa before. But nobody tells you about that story, about the robbery. For Lagos, Badu said they be caught, they break people's head. Nobody talks about it. 75 to 90% occupancy in hotels in Lagos now, Yahoo boys. Nobody talks about it. But people will be talking about the bad things of the Niger Delta. 0.01%. And we allowed it to overshadow our good. And that's why, as commissioner, I organized Young Business Roundtable last 2 weeks ago. The idea was that I saw what young people are doing. Amazingly, what you guys are doing, most of you, CEOs. If we want to create 100,000 jobs, it is in you. If the governments of Niger Delta just call these young businessmen and invest in them, you see what will happen. But not just giving them money that they will use to go to club. But just like as he said, mentorship. Once you are able to mentor young people, you will get the desired results. We have amazing young people from the Niger Delta. I know that. So when I see this rubbish politics they are playing, I just look there and I wonder. But let me tell you, as young people, if we don't wake up, we are 1,000 miles behind. I decided to sit here, but they don't go. But I'm here because of you guys. That's why I'm here. And when we are doing our programs, let's try to manage it so that we don't put it politician, you spoil your program. Some of us don't vex here, we won't come out, but we didn't come because of them. We came because of you. That's why we're here. So while talking to you, I want to tell you that whatever you are doing, do it very well. Amazingly, it may look very difficult. Unfortunately, if you don't get involved in politics, you can't save the situation. That's why, my brother, you hold small thing, get ready and see how you can take leadership. I have been fighting to take leadership. I'm not happy as a commissioner because my potentials are not allowed to explode. But I will continue to fight. They will not allow us, but we'll fight till we get it. So that we can show them how leadership should be. Somebody asked a question. That young girl, I want to answer your question. You said, you were asking, how do we leverage on it? We should patronize ourselves. In the last business roundtable we had in Bayelsa, I saw a young guy on wheelchair producing soap. I've asked my ministry to buy all our soap from him. At least he will be seeing money from it. One young girl does tiger nuts, all those small things. Just supply it. My cook go and be buying things from them. It's not as if some of these things I need them, but just to support. And if we do that, because people will not come from outside. Let me give you a short story. As IYC president, if you go to Bayelsa today, the best water you can get in Nigeria is in Bayelsa. I did it in Bayelsa. I didn't spend money. Not just head, brain. People were bringing water from all other states to dump in Bayelsa. People were bringing bread to dump in Bayelsa. Bromate, rubbish. And as IYC president, I was wondering why every time people going to die of typhoid. Typhoid is when you eat dirty food. So I went to NAFDAC. I said, what's going on in the town? I called those manufacturing. It seems that these people are not giving us good water. So I called them. They now explain their ordeal. They are not doing well in business. People are bringing from outside. We don't even know where they are producing. So I gathered all of that. So anyway, as IYC president, my duty is to protect the job people. Therefore, I want to see where they produce this water. It was like joke. There's no kind of abuse I didn't get. I stopped water from coming to Bayelsa and bread. In the morning, if my task force catch you for road, they will seize the old bread to the office. I say, please. I'm not saying don't do the business. Bring it to Bayelsa so that we can make sure you are not using bromate to feed our people. We can monitor the water. There's no kind of pressure I didn't see. That's why I say I need power. I tell you. Some people say, you they behave like say you be another government. I'm only doing my job. People brought money. PA water has gone into extinction. She brought money to my office. I told her, madam, your biggest market is Amasoma. Go and set up the factory. Make I see. You don't know me. Carry that your money. Go far. Today, the best water factories are in Bayelsa. This guy, what's his name? Fido Water told me he has employed over 500 young people. He has diversified to ICT. Not to car abuse that they don't see. Today, all the encomium there because they don't see. We need to be our own market. What stops the Niger Delta governors from starting our own grazing fields? To answer your question, you said Land Use Act, how to get land. Why can't our governors open up the land and area and say, okay, all the young people go there, we have cleared it, we have fertilized it, go and farm there. We need to change politics. If we not take them, we are finished. Because look at the kind of individuals that are taking power. They don't even understand. I dey inside now, they take no connection with you. You are just wasting your time. So if you don't gravitate, but first of all, what do you do? I don't support, because IYC they do election, every Tom, Dick, and Harry should come and be. That's why I refuse to support the rubbish they are calling leadership. What do you do if you are a lawyer? Where's your chamber? You must earn a living as an individual before you come to say you are taking political power. So that money no go dey long throat you. You use it for the right thing. We have a lot to do. Our system have been bastardized. These people don't destroy us. You have not seen it. I don't see them. But you know me, my office by Chia Mukode. If I live here, I can walk into my office and start my business. I started it from scratch to where it is. So I'm not here to put the right perspective in the right place. But I challenge you as young people. I have seen that you people can do so much. I know that it's possible. But we need to get the right mindset. Those of us away they caught, we're going to stop all those rubbish. Because we are selling a wrong narrative from our region. Badu, they carry stone, they break people head for Lagos. Nobody they talk on. Because they own the institutions that manage all these things. Because they don't want negative narrative. I went to Lagos to disarm boys in Arepo. If you see what they were doing in Arepo, all the soldiers we went with, they disarm everybody. Nobody heard it on radio. From morning till night, they shoot gun. We did negotiate. Because it's Lagos, nobody will hear it. But it's rubbish boys. And it brings me to these politicians. A politician should gather Rivers people and talk to them about the economic impact of this beheading they are doing in Rivers and Bayelsa. I went to deliver a lecture in Caledonia University in Glasgow on environment. When we finished, the professor went into a room and he showed me a grid. They are security grid because they told them that a militant was coming to Glasgow. Yes. The report from a Yoruba guy that rewrote was that a militant leader was coming to Glasgow. So by the time I finished, and there was nothing like, in fact, when I entered, it was nobody even knew I was a person. When I finished, and we now became familiar, he showed me the grid. Borno State is yellow on the grid. Port Harcourt, na red. You know what that means? It means that you can go to Borno, walk as you like, go and sleep. And that in Port Harcourt, they will bomb you on the street. Don't give that kind of narrative. Because if we don't see these things, and that's why I'm worried about the kind of politicians we get. Somebody talked about fiber optics. If an investor comes to the Niger Delta, comes to Nigeria, he will not come to the Niger Delta because of fiber optics. The Yahoo economy, you know, if you get time, even if they're good and bad thing. Because people will prefer it when they just in less than how many seconds they have sent their message than to sit down here and be waiting for your message, climb mast, your message never go. So the governors must begin to look at those ingredients that will support an environment. Because they don't even understand what they talk. I know. My state don't reach again. No, politics don't reach. You see the kind of elements that are coming, you'll be shocked. What will they offer you? We talked about education here. What kind of education are our children getting? When children in Lagos, I watched one debate on TV. Young children, primary school, they are writing their own games. Because the Lagos economy understands that artificial intelligence is the way to go. ICT is the way to go. What are we doing? So, politicians, we need to flog some of them. Because most of our progress is hard work on your part that have kept you where you are, EBCU. If you go to sane environments, he was talking about Dubai just now. You don't need to work this hard to become a multi-billionaire. And when I became commissioner, I found out that there was a missing link between the people and government. And that's why I started organizing programs to bring them together. If I organize events, I don't go and look for artists from Lagos. Play for Lagos, make I play for Bayelsa. So that I can encourage the local economy. But we too have a lot to do. We need to educate ourselves. Success itself, you need personal effort to get to the level that you wish. So if you are not prepared to make that sacrifice, we may say all the things here and it won't go anywhere. The first law to wealth is access. Our brother said it here. How do you create access in order for you to present your case? That's what he was saying. Those things are real. But the problem is politics. If there's no light, it will hinder your business. And I will give commendations to Edo State. I follow what they are doing. Edo State just started Edo Jobs. You know what they did? They built a very big warehouse, brought all kinds of machines. If it is water you are making, the machine is there. If it is shoes you are making, the machine is there. If you are sewing, the machine is there. Just come here. There's light. And look at NDDC. They are writing rubbish when they should be here, hearing what Edo is doing so that they can do those hubs. And the painful part is that it is our money. They are not doing what they say, save the people. Now our money. I get pain because when we did street, the battle of Obasanjo for that NDDC, some of these people doing this rubbish. They know they even wear pants or cassette. They naked, they play ball for our side. And look at the rubbish they have taken us to. Go to the north. Go and see Northeast Development Commission. They're not the new one, my brother. Go and look at their documentary. You go cry for Niger Delta. Go and see it. What do they worry these people? The same thing with our governors and local governments. Do you know how much goes into the local government? But you see, if we sit down here and continue to struggle only by ourselves, it go hard us. It go hard us. We must, as we are moving on, begin to play positive roles in politics and challenge the status quo. People like us no agree. Because no be mistakes I did in Niger Delta. Or I be Joma. But I commend you. You know, if they give me mic, I will talk to you tomorrow. But let me just round up. I still get plenty things to do today. I want to commend those of you who have, within this difficult terrain, in business and in this economy, still keep your heads high and running a business. Thank you. One day, we will get it right. One day, they will come to their senses. But some of us will not go allow them rest. As a ministry, I'm doing my best. We're setting up a hub, ICT facility, so that instead of talking and waiting for government to come and give us a center they have refused to give, let's start our own center. Somebody has donated 10 computers, another person is giving us 40. We are doing a 40-man. Come to the ministry, you see it. So that instead of looking for one school to send you, I can pay him to come and help us inside this hall. Before 3 months, they graduate for 5, 6. I was in Dubai talking to Microsoft to come and certify. Because let's start small. If they know they understand, make sure they do the best I can. So that value itself will add it. But I know I'm confident that we'll make it. Francois Fanon said, every generation out of relative obscurity must rediscover his mission, whether to betray or fulfill it. Aluta continua.
Ladies and gentlemen, Engineer Odanks Eradiri, Aluta. All right, I'm glad to let you know that the Honorable Commissioner will be back to sit on the panel before the end of the event, so you get to hear more. Once more, I want us to appreciate the Commissioner for all he has said. And talking about the events his ministry organized about 3 weeks ago, that was on the 4th of June, if I remember. I can attest to the fact that he is interested in growing the local economy. The program was the Bayelsa Business Linkage Forum. And previously, we have issues in Barasa where those in the government who organize events would go outside to source for service providers. But I'm proud to say that my company produced the documentary for that event, and we also handled the PR for that event, and it was wonderful. We appreciate the fact that we had the opportunity to serve the ministry for that event. So once more, we'd like to appreciate the Honorable Commissioner. I told you that it's very vibrant. If we leave him here till tomorrow, no go. But we have to go. All right, before we continue, briefly, I would like to have for the next 5 minutes, Professor Brisibe, before he takes his leave. He's rushing out for a meeting. I will continue the program shortly. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's pretty difficult coming to talk immediately after somebody like Odengs, you know? Well, that is my luck, I think so. My slides, if it is going to be okay, but I'm not going to talk about, my discussion would have been on the structural necessities of a transformed economy in Niger Delta. But I feel all of us can contribute to that bigger picture. The slides is a little bit academic, so we are not going to look into them. We can contribute into that bigger picture in our little ways. I am a medical doctor, and I want to just connect that with my story. I'm a medical doctor that graduated from Uniport some 22 years ago. And don't look at me as if I'm young, I'm old. Yeah, some 22 years ago. And I got into leadership of my constituency, the medical school, the medical community. I was once the NMA secretary of this state. But there was something that I felt was proper. When I was growing up, during the holidays, I go to the village. I didn't have the luxury of spending my holidays in township. And that connected me to one fact, that the people that needed health care were more in the villages. So my aspirations in life at that point in time was to be a practitioner in my village, was to open a hospital in my village. But somehow along the line, I became fisher of men, just like Christ did to Peter and the disciples. Why I say so is that I ran a postgraduate study in what we call family medicine, which is basically training people, doctors, to take care of people in rural areas or at the primary care level. So I opened the first hospital in 2006 in Port Harcourt, number 15 Port Johnson Street. That was a 6-bedded hospital. After that, got some opportunities to go and do masters in health economics and health policy with difficulties. School days in the university, it was pretty difficult. When I say pretty difficult is that if I spend a dime out, 1 naira out of my money, pocket money in a month to eat a meal with protein, it means I will run short of normal diet. So I have to do without. I don't know whether you people know those things these days. All right, I have to do without. And the effect of without is that you are prone to some infections like boils and all that. So if boil is on this seat, on this part, these buttocks have to be at the edge of the seat to read. That is the strength in a typical Niger Deltan. That is the willpower in a typical Niger Delta. And that was what happened. And then opened this hospital, 6-bedded hospital in 2006, got a loan from Diamond Bank, increased it to 10-bedded hospital. And today, After the years, in 2015, I felt I now became a professor in Niger Delta University, and traveling to Port Harcourt was much of a problem. So Bayelsa is one state that people will not want to go into because of this labeling, common labeling of all the, of Niger Delta. But I felt that, look, let us try a different thing. Try a different thing to solve humanity problem. I believe that, yes, businesses are supposed to make profit. But when these businesses are established with the concept of solving a human challenge, the businesses will grow. People will buy into it. So we thought about it and got consulting partners, established that business, and today it is a 28-bedded hospital providing 2 specialized care in fertility and then wellness. Why I'm telling this story is this. When you start businesses, when businesses are small, you must think big. From the day you start the business, you must think big. Today, we have that hospital, but in 5 years, in 2025, God willing, one is alive, the target is that we would have expanded our investment into interventional cardiology, into what we call integrating our local massage with the modern physiotherapy so that we can solve our people's problem better. What it implies is that you must start small and think big. Think in a way that you will be competitive at all times. And that because once you are competitive at all times, you are bound to grow. Challenges will come. As young people, your challenges, at times when I teach my students, I begin to wonder. In my days, I did not have distraction of WhatsApp. At times I want to make calls, and then one more WhatsApp message comes, the other, I get distracted, and I can't even make the call that I'm supposed to. So your challenges are even more than ours. But you can only be focused. I wonder at times how they read, because it's pretty difficult. I also believe that as young people, you must take something serious, and that is branding. See yourself as a business entity. Brand yourself. What do you want people to know you as? Do you want people to know you as somebody with integrity? Do you want people to know you as somebody that is lazy? Do you want people to know you as somebody that has plan, is strategic about what he or she is doing? I believe that personal branding is very important. If some of you people that have the opportunity, Google around and read about personal branding. Because once you have a clear brand, if people know that this is what you stand for, if you are doing this, this is what you are going to bring, I think that your business will grow. Your personal career will grow. I'm not a politician, or I wasn't a secular politician until people like Odens recruited me, and they said they felt that they needed people to change, and then we followed them. And because of that personal branding, and we followed them, and because of that personal branding, it made a lot of difference. I could not win my election, but everybody knew that, look, politics can be played in a way that there is interaction, there is connectivity between the people and the leaders. And that, I think, even if I'm not, at least in Bayelsa, I know that it has gone through the head of people. That, look, over time, if we begin to be playing this, our top politics, one man controlling everything is not going to work. I want to just encourage you. Select areas in Niger Delta that when you invest, either in service, in agri, or in industry, that you have a competitive advantage. And I believe that once you identify those areas and you invest in those areas and work hard, start small, dream.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you, sir. Okay, just a couple of more and we'll be out of here. We'll get a panel session. But before then, I would like to take a few questions, especially questions directed at some of the areas handled by Mr. Aubrey Franklin. So if you have questions for Mr. Aubrey Franklin, this will be the right time and he will respond. Please, can I have a second microphone? Thank you. All right, we'll do 3 questions now.
Thank you. My name is Tega, came from Bayelsa. I have a question for you, sir, as regards to the comments you made about we don't need people who give us money. We need people who give us their influence, so to speak. Okay. The service I run is domestic house cleaning, industrial domestic house cleaning, and domestic help agency.
Help.
Yes, domestic help agency.
Help.
Well, help domestic workers. All right, we have a vision of getting our staffs out of the shores of Nigeria. We're working on that. Okay, now the challenges I have are 2. The influence you rightly said, and frankly, the money. Because I've been in this business for a year and a half, I've discovered a lot of challenges that I know if I have the money, I will solve on my own. Then secondly, getting my business to the international level, I know I need the right influence. Now, I want to agree with Solomon Kings when he was trying to raise it for when he said, we actually need people who will inject funds into this. We're not asking for free money, we're asking for money to invest that you have a return to. How do I get this place? Because I see my future in you, frankly.
I traveled a few weeks ago to go raise funding. I met a few investors that I wanted to raise funding for. But you see, for you to raise funding, you need to be able to prepare yourself. There's something called a pitch deck. Do you have a pitch deck? A pitch deck is a document that shows your financials on what you've done before, where you're going, where you intend to go. If you ask me now to give you money, right, I might not be able to give you money if I don't see the vision, the mission of your company, the pitch deck that shows me your financials, what you've done before, what you think you're going to do now, and what you think you're going to do in a few years' time. I'll tell you something. I think it was a little bit funny for him to have asked them and say, come and invest in the youth. You know, for me, I hate it when politicians become very defensive when you tell them what they've done that is wrong to the youths of the Niger Delta. And it's simple. You know, I'm sure you heard this, you heard our chairman's closing remark. I'm not here to attack anybody, but the truth is, I'll say my mind, I'll go back to my business. But whatever I'm here to do is to make sure that all of you were able to cross. You see, this is the first time I'm seeing a politician, someone holding a political position, standing in front of me, yeah, and speaking the way Mr. Odengs, Honorable Odengs has spoken. You understand? You know, sitting down here, I had a lot of chills in my body. I said, someone like this, even if they give him a sack letter tomorrow, he knows that he's made an impact. He said something. Now, I had a conversation outside with the Honorable Poberi, Henneken, and he said, why do I need to open a tech hub in my village? What am I teaching them? Who is going to learn? If you don't start it, you won't know that there are people there. We all came from villages. I have a village. Do you also know that when I was growing up, I've carried cassava in my head. I've fried Gary. Do you know that? You understand? So if I was in the village, you would have obviously said that this guy cannot operate a computer. But today I own tech businesses. And I'll say this here. I have a tech business that I made more than $3 million from 2017. Because what I did was I sat down and said, if I travel, I have people that need apartments, people that need houses. So why not I bring different people that have their houses and put them under one platform and tell people to come and book from there, since I have access to all those people. Do you understand? So you can get investment, simple. All you need to do is you have the idea, build up a pitch deck, build up a business case to show somebody. Because there are times where you go for an interview. Do you go for an interview without a CV? Yeah, you have to go. I need to look at the CV and see what you have done, where you are going to, where you have worked, who is your referee to enable me give you the job. And then once you go into the job, they give you 3 months of probation, right? Some companies. Once you're in that company for 3 months and you cannot do what you need to do, then they tell you, okay, we cannot hire you anymore. You need to leave. Do you understand? So build your pitch deck. Go and read about. See, these are things. If you don't have the money to pay somebody to do a pitch deck, put off your WhatsApp, like he said. Put off your Instagram. Go and sit down on YouTube. There are free tutorials there that will help you on how to build a pitch deck. Everything is not money. That 1K you think that you need to use, that, oh, it's not enough. Buy data. Sit down. I learn them on the internet. I read. If I'm traveling, I look for flights I have. If I'm traveling abroad, long flights, I look for flights that have Wi-Fi. The reason is because while my WhatsApp, I put up my WhatsApp, I'm airborne, calls are not coming in. I'm studying. I'm reading about stuff. You know, it's difficult to, reading culture is difficult these days, but you can do it. You can put up those distractions like WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you know, put off your phone and then focus on trying to learn something. Every day, learn one thing. Thank you. Next question, please.
Next question. I'll take just one more question. Okay. No, two more. I will need a female. Yeah, female, please. I like to be gender balanced. Please be brief.
Thank you. My name is Inyekona Chikodelinda, and I'm a pair-published nutritionist consultant.
Yeah, what?
I'm a pair-published nutritionist consultant. Okay, so sometime last year, I and a team member, we tried developing a recipe to reverse breast cancer.
That's great.
And we tried, I had 2 women on my list that was actually diagnosed of breast cancer. So we brought them in, and due to the fact that the funding was much, I decided to bring them in. Then I and my team members, we...
Did you just say you had a lot of funding?
No, I say due to the issue of funding.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had to just only bring 2 persons, did the production ourselves. They only paid for the delivery to their house, and we were monitoring them. In fact, one was just screaming. So what am I saying? We wanted to pull it out to the entire public. And we had a biased mind. What was the biased mind? People want a product that is certified by the NAFDAC.
Yeah.
And now when we tried going for that to find the requirement, it was actually huge. Now the question is, how do we get this further? Because that is the problem.
All right. It's the same thing about, Honorable. Since you're in government now, yeah? Before you see this girl, right? She came up with something that can heal breast cancer, right? You see, these are kind of people. Every genius in Nigeria, in the world, were discovered by their own government and positioned them there. Now you see this girl right here, right? I'll need your number because we need to find a way for, like, people are waiting for a foreigner to discover drug for HIV. But I'm sure that there's a Nigerian somewhere, sitting somewhere, that found something that he used to cure something. But you know what? So that they will chop this money, they've decided not to bring some people out. See, Honorable, please, come, my lady, come. You must collect Honorable's real number because I'm not in government. This is the only thing I can do. Honorable, what she has. If you can help her with the right access you have, you're in government. You meet with your governor every day. You meet with top government officials. She has a drug for breast cancer. That's what she said. What I want you to just do for me, and I would like her to maybe let me know that it's been done, is for her to fast track a NAFDAC certificate and for NAFDAC to approve it. That's number 1. Number 2, for her to find a way to push it out to the market. I'm not asking you for money. I'm just asking for that access. Now, also, if it's possible, your Ministry of Health in your state, what state are you from? You're from Imo State. Okay. Now you're part of us. Don't worry. So I want it's possible for your Ministry of Health to also look into it, to find a way to pick a few breast cancer patients in Bayelsa and help them, even in Niger Delta. It will help me.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, you see one of the beauties of attending this function. I pray that God gives you the strength to continue. I will do my best. I have a lot of experience in politics. No, I know what I'm saying. Economic politics against we against ourselves, and then the West against us. This thing that she's doing is a very important thing. For me, we will network discreetly. Abalaka was just destroyed. They knew. If you watch Blacklist, it's about government at the highest level of conspiracy. You will see that once this girl's thing comes out, they will begin finding herself to knack. Because people are making so much money in the world from these things. Some people produce some of these things, ailments just to create monies internationally. So if we are not careful, you just destroy her by bringing her public. Let's discreetly, because before you know that, she don't get American something. Before you know, Africans, we are always slaves to those institutions. We will be the ones to destroy this young girl. So, thank God you are here, I'm here. Outside our political this thing. That one, we don't use until know people. Yeah. We can work together and see how we can support this process to get to the level where some institution can identify and work with her, so that she just take a patent. Yeah. You understand what I mean? Without destroying her. Yeah. Watch Blacklist. You will be shocked. And it's happening. So we will interact. Yeah. I'm here. Thank you.
All right. You see, thank you so much. What we are here to do is to help you cross. Access, we're giving you the access. See, don't focus on anything. Focus on the things that you have. You see that girl, she has something. I said something when I was making my presentation, though they messed up my slide. I was saying something when I was making my presentation. You need to have that special skill. There need to be something that is easier for you to open the door. That girl opened the door easily because she just said something that is a need in Nigeria. See, the Bill Gates Foundation, a lot of top foundations that donate money to Africa, they donate money to things like this. People go and buy international drugs and use it. Now, you can imagine if they donate those monies and they develop this girl to get to somewhere. So, next, my last question, so I leave.
There are lots of questions, but would have to be very management at our time. Okay.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon.
Please, sir, I want to focus on access.
Yeah.
Because in the Niger Delta, that's the problem we have.
Yeah.
That's the problem we have. I have hustled, I've tried everything, politics, everything, and nothing works here. We always love Lagos and Dubai and America.
Unfortunately.
And the internet. Please, is there a way we can form, I use this, your tech hub. Can we form a human hub or a Niger Delta hub where we can help each other? We have a lot of people, like in my village, there's this artist that was caught recently, in kidnapping. He was actually arrested in my school, writing WAEC. It pains me because I know I heard him, but I didn't have the money. We have worked in entertainment here. We don't believe in ourselves here. The government doesn't believe in us. I'm a politician. We believe in ourselves. I mean, the government doesn't believe in us. We have had issues. I know I might have issues after this comment if they have their children here, but I want to also advise the youth that, see, these people have made money, they have made everything. We need to be ourselves. We need to work with ourselves. So please, let me not waste our time. Is there any way you, the celebrities, the people that have this access, can help us, even if it's to form a club or a business club, like my brother formed a comedy club and God has blessed him to bless others. Form something that even the people that came from Bayelsa that are not known now will be known in the next 1, 2, 3 days. Please. Thank you very much.
I like what you just said. It's very important to own. Everybody is not going to be a CEO. Do you know that? See, the problem with us, let me talk about the Niger Delta, it's everywhere in Nigeria. And before I leave, everybody is not going to be a CEO. The reason why a lot of us have failed in businesses is because we want to do it. Let my babe talk to me get them. Let my guy talk to me get them. I did a survey one day. Let me tell you this, in Lagos. I woke up one morning at about 7:30. I drove from my house to Lekki Phase 1. So I started from the Lekki Phase 1 gate. I had a meeting, then quickly by 8:30, I rode on Lekki Phase 1 from the gate all the way to the end of Admiralty. And I found out that a few businesses there are jokers. They are just either doing something, I don't know what they're doing with their business. They were not open. So I asked myself, then I went for another meeting. I drove back at 12:30. Most of those businesses were open, and so a lot of them were not open. So I walked into a few and asked them, do you know what one of the girls said? Oga, we know the same market for you. Yeah? Now, when month end, they go just pay me salary. I say, when last did you say? I say, this week. We never sell past 4 things for here. Now, guess what? I don't want you to feel like entrepreneurship is an easy thing. It's okay to call yourself a CEO, but it's also okay to call yourself a managing partner, right? It's also okay to call yourself a business development manager in a company. We can all come together. If you are 5 of you that have the same idea or you share the same direction, you can all come together, build one thing. You know, we always disagree. Partnership is not easy, right? But you see, when there are no available opportunities for us to use, we try to partner. You know, I'm so excited that I came here. I nearly did not come, right? Because my very good friend today opens a store in Lagos, Payport. He's from Akwa Ibom as well. He's a Niger Delta guy. And I'm going to run late for it. But the most important thing is I'm able to today to have connected with everyone here. It's not my doing, but it's the grace of God. And for me, if I have an opportunity to get one or two Niger Delta artists to promote, or if I see 1 or 2 Niger Delta people to hire, I'll do it. You know, I'm very, very passionate about where I'm from. You understand? We are not kidnappers, and we will never be. We are not cultists, and we will never be. I'll tell you something. Everybody that is a cultist, once they leave this place and go to Lagos, they redefine themselves. So why can't you redefine yourself here and use the opportunity? It's simple. I'll tell you something. I have a boy that used to be in Unical, a rugged boy you know, crazy. One day I saw him in Lagos, quiet, in the place, just sitting down. And I told my guy, you see that guy will be in the fear for Unical. Now, the guy's in Lagos, redefine, you see him, he's packaged, he speaks very well. Why not do that cultism in Lagos? They'll arrest you and you don't have anybody to bail you out. But in Calabar, in Bayelsa, in Rivers, we need to stop this thing. That's why they keep labeling us this thing. Let me tell you something. America is a brand. The United States of America is not just a country. It's a brand. And that's how they position it. If you watch CNN, when they're reporting about a story, the other day you saw one man and his daughter on CNN. They were about to cross to America and they died. You know what? If you go on CNN and ABC News, you see how they are packaging the story. They are packaging it very well because they are packaging it because they know that America is a brand. If we don't believe that Niger Delta is a brand, we cannot take it anywhere from where it is and take it somewhere. You know, so that when we go somewhere, I'm from Niger Delta and we're proud to be Niger Deltans. So thank you so much. I know that if we're here, we can stay at you tomorrow and keep talking and sharing ideas. But if you have anything you want to say to me or questions you want to ask me, just go on my Instagram, on my Twitter, send me a DM. We'll be able to talk because I can't give everybody here my number and I cannot be here for too long so that other people can speak. I'm very proud of you, boss. I'm very, very proud of you. I've never heard someone speak like that. A person that is in government. You know, we always hear people that are trying to get into government talk like that. But you in government talking like that, I'm really excited. And I wish that everybody, your colleagues and everyone should try to bring these businesses that they feel like they are importing from somewhere. There's nothing that you consume that cannot be produced in your village. They need to bring these factories and put them in your village, right? And hire somebody, train them. If you train 10 people, at least even if it's 7 or 8 that get it, the other 2 should wait and give other opportunities for others to come in. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you for listening to me. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ubi Franklin. Ladies and gentlemen, you can do better than that for him. All right, also to remind you that the certificates are still out there for collection for just a token of 1,500 naira, 1,500 naira. All right, I think we're about to bring in this event to an end, but just a little more. I would like to invite to the microphone for the next 10 minutes a beauty queen and a veteran actress to briefly speak to us. Ladies and gentlemen, Ibinabu Fabresima.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I came in late. My flight was delayed, but I am honored to be here. I'm sure everybody has said everything. I was coming to tell everyone here speaking not to just go on agriculture, but I was happy when I saw Ubi on the list that he will speak, and I knew he'd be coming from where I would be coming from. But he has talked about he's a CEO. I am too, but maybe not as big as him. But I must tell us that us as a people, the Niger Delta, we are very resilient. A lot of youths that are going to the streets now to fight, to kidnap, to steal, those things are not in vogue again. Use your talent, use your telephone. If you're an actor, use your telephone and do a 1-minute video of yourself. Put it on social media. Those people out there, they are going to search for who can act for a particular role. You'll be amazed what that 1-minute video can do for you. Don't send me a text and say, help me in the movie industry. Nobody helped me. In my own time, there was no Instagram or social media to make me tell you the world what I can do. Some people even say I can't act. It's okay, but I'm still making my money in the acting and producing. So believe in yourself first. Don't ever wait for someone to help you grow. If you have that talent, your talent sells you automatically. Put that 1-minute video out there. Everybody is doing short videos now on comedy. You don't have to do comedy in a 1 minute. You can actually be a mad woman, be on drugs, be on something. Just create a situation where you think you can excel and put that 1-minute video out to the world. You'll be amazed how many people will call you and help you. Your talent will tell who you are. Your personality will tell who you are. Some people approach me and they are so rude. And then when I look at you and say, I beg, no, you're not my problem today. Say, hey, when I don't make them now, no one help us. I know will help you. Because nobody help me. Some people helped me, yes, but I wasn't rude getting the help. Not be by force to help. This is our problem in the Niger Delta. I will support you if you are willing to learn. I will support you if you want help, if you need that help. I won't support you because you are from Niger Delta. No, let us remove that mentality. You can't be rich overnight. It's here before I did where I did. Even till now, I see the struggle. I struggle. See me, my package will not be here. Because I don't know where we enter and I will see somebody that will help my career. It's the truth. I have 4 children. Look at me. I see package. Because I'm not married. I'm a single, available wife material. So anywhere I go, I sell myself. Do you understand? I came here hoping to meet the who is who and what is what here. Because I wanted to get up and read paper. But after I heard my brother would then speak here, let me tell you as it is. It's the truth. Stop believing that somebody there must bring you there. No. Believe in yourself. Is there anywhere I walk into like this, they know don't look me? Yes. But when you start giving me that audience, I start to relate with you intellectually. You now look at the girl get brain. Oh, yes. Because I have what I have to sell to you, and I want you to buy it. But I'll be very polite. I will dress up properly. I will look good. I don't have to look like a ruffian or look like somebody along the road. And they just can have be Niger Delta. So, and then, when you see all these girls in Lagos, all these men, boys, all these people blowing, yes, they are blowing. Go and look at them at home. They can't eat. Some of them will send me a message, Mama, I beg, he had. But meanwhile, your Instagram page is saying a different story. So you too can do it. Go on Instagram. Look, my goodness, be flamboyant. Do something. I'm a rich woman. That's what you are saying. So that when you want to deal with me, you deal with me on that level. If you're an actor, create a situation that you can do so well, like you've taken drugs, and there's a lady that just did something about the flower. I don't know if you all watched it. Did you watch it? She's an actor. She's just an actor. She just did that thing about losing someone, about the flower, and she was talking about her death. She was talking about abuse, how she was abused so long, and she died. But she had died, and she was telling her story. That moved. I cried when I watched it. I actually thought it was true. Till the end, and she said, that's me at my funeral. And I'm like, okay. She's talking about abuse, domestic violence. But her message just came straight. I started looking for the girl's number. So this is how you sell yourself. Live yourself, breathe yourself. Yourself will take you to, you will not imagine where you'll get to in this today of technology. Please believe in us. Like my brother, Port Harcourt Comedy Club. I don't come to his club like every day, but I live in Lagos. But merely I see his post, I'm resharing it. I'm telling everybody I'll be there. Because I want to encourage him. I want to push him. I want him to succeed. Hezekiah is doing a show in a few days. I haven't seen a Port Harcourt boy do a show like they do with the other artists in Lagos, that they do Basket Mouths, Untamed, or the Lord of the Rings, or whatever. When I saw Hezekiah, so I was in heaven. And I started sharing it like I was the one doing it. But I don't even know how he got around doing it, but I will support him. So let us stop bringing our own down. Let us celebrate our own. Don't ever think other people are better than us. We are a rare breed. I keep telling people, the Niger Delta, we are a rare breed. And that's the truth. Just believe in yourself, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ibn Abu Fibresima. Hello. Just before you get distracted, I would like to let you know that I'm also single and searching. I'm very, very, very single and I'm searching. So, just in case, I understand. You have 4 children. We'll talk about it after now. All right, I want to thank every one of you for being here today. Especially, I want to thank the Honorable Commissioner for Youth Development by Alsa State. It's hard for you to say politicians stay from the beginning till the end. I would need to let you know that he was the first guest we had today. He came in here at about past 9. He left and came back where the event started, and he has sat down there till now. Commissioner, we appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much. And before I call on my colleague for the closing remark, I would like to present you with a very small opportunity. I run a media production and advertising company, and recently we launched some of our indoor advertising screens in Port Harcourt, Market Square. We have one at Market Square GRA, and we are installing another one at Peter Audley Access. So what we do is we sell visibility to your businesses at very affordable prices, both indoor and outdoor. So if you're interested to advertise your business on those screens for very affordable prices, you can meet me just after now. Thank you very much for being a part of Niger Delta CEO Summit. Let me welcome my colleague, Mr. Emmanuel Ekwa, for the closing remark. And I'm sure I would see you in 2020. My name is Sylvester Sede. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Okay, just 2 minutes before you take your leave. We want to thank everyone who has been part of the Niger Delta CEO Summit 2019. Like Sly said, I think commissioners for youth and sports are a different breed of politicians, because I worked with one in Oyo State where we had a job fair, and he was a rare kind of politician. And it's a desire that young people will go from businesses to politics and make their mark, make a difference like he is making. And when we come for the Niger Delta CEO Summit, one thing we encourage people to do is to network. So we come here, we take in a lot of stuff. I'm sure you have heard a lot of things today that you will go away to run with. But meet a few people, exchange your business cards, tell them what you do. Let's see how we can foster business, do business together. One is too small a number to achieve greatness. That's a quote by John C. Maxwell. So I want to encourage us as we wrap it up, let's network. Talk to someone, find out what the person does, tell the person what you do, see how you can collaborate, and I'm sure that our businesses will be bigger and better. See you at Niger Delta CEO Summit 2020 by God's grace. Thank you.